We're live. Welcome to A Sip with the Supernatural, Part 2, Paranormal Tours.
Yes, sir. We're in the building. Us. Welcome to a spooktacular night.
I'm going to call him while you do the intro.
All right, with the host with the most that has a broken freaking neck. Did you win a gold medal with that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you sound like you're in pain.
I am.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but we got the host with the most, Superfly fucking Johnny Lee. Give it up for Johnny Lee, everybody. Wow,
that's right. And I'll call him right here.
To the right of Johnny Lee is my boy, the Black Snack, the Black Cat, Kenny Blackjack Mulligan. You know him, you love him. Gang, gang, everybody. And me, you're also your co-host, Leon motherfucking Lexington. And we're going on a very spooktacular night. We got Jeff. It's gonna be a paranormal evening. We're gonna give him a call. We're gonna talk the supernatural. We're gonna get into the itty gritty of the dark arts. And it's gonna be a great night.
That's right.
Yes,
because
sir.
Tonight it's all about the spooktacular.
And I'm gonna make me and Black Cat a drink while we wait for the phone call.
All right, I'm gonna call him right now.
And we're sipping on the Sazerac Rye straight from New Orleans. It's fitting.
That's right.
Good rye whiskey.
Hello.
Hello. This is the Sip with the Supernatural podcast. Colin.
Oh, yes, I've been expecting your call. Thank you.
Hey, Leon.
Yes, sir.
He's on the phone.
All right, tell him I'm making a drink. And
He's making a drink, and he'll be over here to talk to you, brother.
What you making?
What you making, Leon?
I got some melon liqueur, some Sazerac Rye, and a ginger pop.
You hear him yell?
It is definitely not a bad Sunday.
Hell yeah, it's not.
It's kind of a Kentucky grenade. That's what we're calling it.
That's right.
Oh, nice.
That's a hell of a drink.
I'll be saving mine for later this evening. I got to work later, so of course I don't drink before I go into work because I'm not that entertaining sober, and I'm really not that entertaining drunk. So
that's true. What time do you go to work usually?
Oh, well, if I'm not doing my stage show, I do a cemetery paranormal tours. So I have one at 7 o'clock every night and 9:30. So I'll leave for work about 5, and I'll get back about 11:30. Yeah.
Does it ever like get on your soul? Like on like days that you're like, you got to go to work. Do you have like a preparation that you do beforehand before going into work to like maybe clear some of your dark energies before you step in that dark realm?
Well, I have a few. I tried, it's a process of with preparations A through G, but now I just use preparation H.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
That was a very good setup for a very good joke. No, I do.
Preparation H.
Yeah.
Just do a fat line of fucking heroin before you go in.
Yeah,
right.
No, but you ask about a preparation. I just thought I'd make a hemorrhoid joke.
I was thinking heroin. You're thinking hemorrhoids. We're on two different planes.
I would be doing cocaine.
Johnny'd be doing cocaine if he was doing ghost interviews. Well, ghost stories.
Two very different interviews. No, yeah, I came out of a background of death. So, I was a funeral director for, I've worked in either funeral homes or owning crime scene cleanup companies for 25 years. And then, of course, I do what I do now. So I already have that mind frame. I walk in anything I'm doing with either investigation or tours with reverence. So I don't really have to go into a subgenre of a personality. It's generally my idle speed of who I am anyway. But that being said, for an hour before the tour or an hour before my stage show, you can always find me having a cigar and kind of relaxing before, just because I know that I'm going to be dealing with a lot of different people with different personalities. And
I feel you.
your main job as a tour guide is to make sure that everybody is enjoying it and respectful of each other. And you don't know the people that are going to be together. You could have a bachelorette party combined with a very tight family together, and you just got to make sure that they both have respect for each other and keep a decorum of that. And on top of that, do your best to creep them the hell out.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
It's a lot of moving parts.
Now, when I did the ghost tour, it was a really fun experience, and you took us to a lot of cool places. Is there anywhere in New Orleans that you would love to take people, but it's just like you don't have time to, or you haven't really thought about it? Is there a place that you're like, I would love to take people on the tour, but it's just not going to happen?
There are a few. We have a couple closed hospitals that I would love to either investigate with my investigation team or possibly lead a tour into. And of course, those are going to be off limits. But we have 2 or 3 abandoned closed hospitals in New Orleans that would be interesting. And of course, if it was me, I don't really know the haunted element of it, but I think if you could find some way to get rid of the mosquitoes for it, a swamp tour in the evening, kind of a paranormal swamp tour where maybe you could say you're looking for the Rougarou, which is our version of a werewolf.
Oh, that would be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah,
and then you could have some like night crawfish boil.
Yeah, that would
ghost hunt out in the woods.
Crawfish ghost hunt, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I think we would like that, but I'm just a well-dressed hog in a wheel. What do I know?
Yeah, right. And I had a question on the tour, but I don't think it ever came up. Has there ever been, like, where you're doing the tour and you see somebody in the tour and you look around and that person is just straight up gone? He's been on the tour for the entire time, and then you look around, you're accounting for people there, getting on the bus or whatever, and that guy, that person, that girl, whatever, the phantom is just gone. And does that ever happen?
Not to that extent.
Not to that extent.
But I do get pictures on a regular basis of people who are not on the tour. And they generally stand out. There's 1 or 2 entities that will follow us around a couple of the cemeteries. And once in a while, they'll show up in a photo. And that's interesting. But never someone who's actually taken the entire, not somebody that I can account for, not somebody that I can, that I think is on the tour and they're not. I've never seen that extent. I also don't believe that, and when I say I don't believe, when I say this, all we have is belief. All we have is our own thoughts on stuff, because there's no experts in the paranormal field. You can't have an expert or a definitive answer in an unknown field.
That's right.
And the paranormal is an unknown field. So that's why I've always used commonly believed and things like that. But it would be very rare. I know of no instance where an entity has stayed around in solid form for an extended amount of time, especially like the 30 or 40 minutes that group's walking together. That would be a unheard of phenomenon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but but I will say it's an excellent question, and it's also a question I've never gotten before. So that is a very good question.
That was a great question.
I feel like the paranormal investigation, to me, in a sense, is like a science that hasn't been fully explained yet. Like, I feel like in the next 200 to 300 years, I feel like we may know more about the ins and outs of paranormal investigation and stuff like that. Like, I feel like it's evolving with time as it keeps on going, to where at some point,
without a doubt. The title of my stage show, which I do a small stage show where I'll travel with it. I may come up to eventually do a show up there. But it's
Kentucky
on
would love you,
Facebook,
man.
Yeah, we would love that.
and I love Kentucky.
You love Kentucky? Hell yeah, brother.
Sure. If they're on Facebook or Instagram, it's a paranormal evening of the unexplained, because that's exactly what it is. It's unexplained. I've never used the term ghosts. I'll occasionally use the word hauntings, but I just call them the unexplained because currently that's what they are. We'll have an answer eventually. We don't right now.
So what's your kind of theory on it all? Like, do you think these are like rips in time? Do you think these are just leftover spirits? What's your theory on the unknown?
I have a few. Well, there's different types of manifestations that we can all agree on.
Yes, sir.
There's repeating manifestations. That's going to be the stories of like the little girl walking up the stairs, and it doesn't matter if you're there or you're not. It's just going to be the same thing, almost like it's on a loop. The entity is not going to acknowledge you. The entity is just going to walk up the stairs like it always has for the past however long it's been doing it, and it'll continue to do that. That is one. Then there's more conscious things like poltergeist. They're going to be usually attached to land or an object or a dwelling, and they're going to just open the doors and turn on the water faucets and move things, stuff like that. You have shadow people, which are very common. They're going to be believed to they're going to be aptly named. They're going to be humanoid, featureless, silhouetted. They range in transparency from practically clear all the way to onyx. They're commonly found around places of sudden, violent, or unexpected death: battlefields, hospitals, house fires, etc. And they can also be very protective of areas. If you're like walking into a basement where something doesn't want you there, they'll come out. And then you have benevolence attachments. That's going to be stories of, I heard one the other night of a woman was falling asleep driving, and then she felt a hand on her shoulder, and it was her grandfather, who had passed away a couple years ago, but he taught her how to drive. She was woken up by her grandfather and probably saved her life because she fell asleep at the wheel. We all hear stories about that. In times of need or in times of celebration, someone that was close to you comes back. And there's others. There's, orbs, and then you can get into sleep paralysis and past life transgression and astral projection and all that. You can talk for hours on this.
Right.
I think personally, each one has its own reasoning. For attachments, not attachments, attachments, like a benevolent attachment, like the grandfather story I just told. I think that when you truly love somebody, either it's a friendship love or a friendship love or family love, that death doesn't stand in the way. Wherever we go when we die, because nobody really knows. But if you truly love somebody, then they are there when you need them. And the ultimate goal in life is, if we do whatever we're supposed to do right, we become that for somebody else. And that kind of makes me happy right there.
Right. There's like not every spirit story has to be ooky spooky, scare the pants off
that's
you.
right.
It can be kind of endearing and like more of a loving thing than just the obvious scariness of it all.
We always tend to gravitate towards the scary stories, but there's loving stories as well. It's just how it is. I mean, you get the same emotion from watching a horrible video on YouTube than you get when you see, to me, and I can balance that out by watching a video of a baby playing with a puppy.
Right.
Yeah.
There's joy to be found in just about anything. And then I think shadow people are created by, now this is just an opinion, but I think it's anger and fear and surprise and loneliness and sadness. You know, everything that's going to come with a unexpected death. Either whether it's self-inflicted or just or natural. You know, if you're walking down the street and you're not prepared for it and you're hit by a bus,
you're gonna be pretty angry.
You know, you might be pretty angry.
Yeah.
You might be pretty angry. For the other things, I don't really have a theory on what causes the repeating manifestations. That time loop where you're just constantly circling. You know, walking. You know, I use the example of the image walking up the stairs. I don't know what causes that. I had one of those in my house when I was in Tampa. I had an old woman that would walk through the kitchen, look out into the backyard, walk back through the kitchen, and disappear in the living room.
Yeah.
And that was seen by my mother, of all things. She saw it once, and that was the last time she ever walked into that house. And then one night in the poker game, the entity came out, looked at 10 people playing cards, walked back in, and it scared the hell out of all of us.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would definitely be a trip. You're probably already drinking and indulging in way too many drinks, maybe some other substances, who knows? And just something pops up, you know, everybody's gonna be spooked.
You'll have someone try to tell you that what you saw was just your mind playing tricks on you.
Now, I have a question about the city itself.
Okay.
All right. When I was
first, I have to touch on what your partner just said.
Yes, please do.
Yes. You won't find anybody that tells an experience and has everybody believe it.
Exactly.
You know, I checked your I think on your Facebook page you have 23,000 followers.
Yeah.
29. I doubt that 29. My apologies. I doubt that all 29,000 followers believe in this 100%. There's going to be a few that think we're just making stuff up, and that's fine. That is a logical and reasonable opinion, and it shouldn't be discounted because everybody has opinions based on experiences they've had.
Exactly.
But you know, it doesn't bother me what people think. You know, I know what I've seen and I've known and experienced, and those that don't believe, that's fine. Eventually, they may, because the paranormal doesn't give a shit about what you believe.
Right, and
it's going to show up when it shows up.
I also think there's kind of something like good in that, like not everybody gets to be invited to the club kind of thinking. You know what I mean? Like you might not believe, but there's a lot of people that does. But since you don't believe, that's cool with us, man. We're gonna sit over here. We're gonna drink our drinks. We're gonna talk about our ghost stories. We're gonna have some fun.
Right.
I mean, I find it pretty interesting. People who don't see these things, they kind of live in this upper world, if you will, where they don't believe in. They don't believe that there's any afterlife or things like that.
Well, there's also separate thoughts of mine of why they don't believe. I mean, hypothetically, if you are a logical, rational, we'll even say science-based person that has everything figured out, okay? And then suddenly, you know definitively that there's something from the afterlife. I'm going to use a word that I normally don't, ghosts. Definitively there's ghosts. Then you have to wrap your head around this. Everything you know and everything that you've based things on is wrong. And now you have to rework and rethink all your logic.
It's a hard pill to
That's
swallow.
a big test. That's a huge pill to swallow. You know, so I can understand some of the reasoning for that.
Do you get a lot of non-believers coming on your tours? Like, what's the ratio of non-believers to believers on the tours?
I'd say about 20%.
About 20%.
I'd say about 20%. About 10% for my shows, because when I do a stage show, where my stage show is talking a bit, and then of course having people share their own stories, which is what I've turned into my tour actually. But I get a less percentage on that because they're knowing what they're getting into. They're paying for a ticket.
Do you get any people who that you kind of turn their belief over? People who come in.
Oh yeah, all the time. All the time. It's very tough when and there's a couple ways to do that. When you're a non-believer, now I'll use my stage show for example. If you come in as a non-believer and then all of a sudden there's 15 people in there telling stories that have happened to them, then you have that choice to make. These are 15 people that have never met each other. So either they're all lying and this is some huge made-up conspiracy, or there has to be something to it. And then I've been on investigations in either Tor or in other places where a non-believer has actually seen something. And that's a game changer. I mean, when you're walking through a cemetery at 11 o'clock at night and you hear your name called or you're touched on the shoulder or whatnot, or you get something in a picture of an image, where do you go from there?
Yeah,
how do you look at that and say no?
Right.
So yeah.
All right. Well, here was my question about the city itself. We was down there on Mardi Gras. We was having a good time, but the people are very nice, and the city is beautiful. But there was an underlying darkness to the streets, to the city, to the buildings, to everything in there. And I just want to know, as a person, do you reside there in New Orleans, or you just bounce back and forth? All right, so you reside there. Do you get that feeling also?
This city will eat you alive.
Yeah, to me, I explained it to people. I was like, it's where the devil, he sits and he plays cards. Like, that's how I described it.
There's a reason why I have so many churches here. Here's the thing. If someone comes down to New Orleans and they decide to let their vices go unchecked, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's like this in other cities as well. It's just a little more accessible here.
Now, my dad was explaining it to us at breakfast because we was talking about the differences between Vegas and New Orleans, and my dad was like, well, Vegas is corporate, but in Louisiana, if you do something fucked up, they're going to put you in the swamp. You know what I mean?
Well, they won't put you in a swamp, but the way I like to look at it is this. You can walk down here and take the bumpers off any vice that you want, okay? But you need to understand, if you get too caught up in the drugs or the drinking or the gambling or the sex here, this city will consume you. You will walk down a whirlpool of whatever vices you're in. You will be washed away and you will be forgotten. And the city will keep on going. It's like a shark attack.
Yeah, and I feel like the locals, really ugly. I feel like the locals had a kind of more they had a good energy to them, to where they kind of see right past that. Like whenever you meet somebody that wasn't from there, they were there for like you said, the vices. But the locals were nah, you don't want to go here, you don't want to go there. Just keep to the beaten path. You're going to be good.
Or if you go there, just have your wits around you.
Right.
If you're going to have a drink, stop at 3. Because there's always tomorrow. You can have more drinks tomorrow. You don't need to get totally shit-faced to where you don't know your name,
or you don't know how to order an Uber.
That's right.
And then try to figure out your hotel room, because that's how you get in trouble. It's always good to know somebody in New Orleans. Like y'all know me now. You got my number. If you're down here and you get in trouble and you have trouble, you have too much to drink, I'll pick you up and I'll take you where you need to go.
Heck yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that because that's what good people do. I don't like this. I don't like to see people. I don't like to see anybody become just another story.
Yeah, and that's
just another statistic.
Like the homeless up here in Kentucky, to me at least, they're just I don't want to be harsh or mean, but most of them are just junkies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But down there, it felt like when you seen a homeless person, you're like, that person could have been here for centuries. Like you get that kind of eerie feeling off of them. Like this person may have been here since the 1700s type deal. At least that's the vibe that I was getting off of those kind of people down there. Well,
not to get socioeconomic on it, but we are a very poor city. We're a city that has no, and it's not a political thing. It's a city that there's no outreach.
Yeah, and y'all have had a lot of hardships too. Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah, but hardships happen. I mean, look at there's a couple hurricanes that hit the Eastern Seaboard. The pretty bad ones. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a Hurricane Sandy, devastated. Had a hurricane just recently that hit the Carolinas. They're fine. For some reason, New Orleans is forgotten. We don't have the,
which is tragic,
the infrastructure or the care from higher ups to really do what needs to be done down here, especially to help our home. A lot of our homeless are veterans. These are people that have put their life on the line, and they're forgotten about, and that's just.
And do you think that reason of forgetting may be because of the dark energies in Louisiana? Like it's kind of.
No, I don't think it's not an energy thing. It's New Orleans has always been the side piece. we're the partner on the side that people like to come in and do whatever they do down here and then go back to their lives back home and not forget about it and have it forgotten about. But then again, that kind of also that darkness you talk about kind of makes it a little more interesting. It's I don't know. It's a cross between Chicago and Vegas, but we're cooler than either.
Oh, I love Chicago. Chicago is one of the great cities, in my opinion. I love.
Chicago is a phenomenal city.
Yeah, Chicago's
Vegas.
awesome.
I'm not a fan of Vegas, and if there's any of your listeners in Vegas,
I'm going to Vegas in a couple of weeks for WrestleMania, so I'll have to see.
Well, Vegas is just a cruise ship that decided to start a city.
That's right.
Carnival City is what they should call it.
Yeah. It's a cruise ship that started a city, and we have New Orleans. We have WrestleMania in New Orleans next year.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We might end up going to that one. Who knows? But I have another question.
That one, of course.
Is there ever a place that you have just been like, I'm not, like, maybe not even walked in, you just looked at it from the outside and was like, yep, I'm not going in that place. Like, I have my wits about me.
Yes. Applebee's. Nobody should ever go to Applebee's.
That's Chili's for me. That's Chili's for me. I hate Chili's.
Applebee's makes Chili's look like Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. Chili's, definitely.
No, I'm not empathic. I don't have that sense or that feeling where I can see or sense things. I can get a bad vibe about people or about locations, but never to the point where it's just told me no. I can't remember the dwelling, but I was doing an investigation a couple years ago at a hotel in Boston, and I don't remember what hotel it was. But I did kind of have that sense that you're talking about there. I just knew something was up about it, and sure enough, there was. But I do have people that tell me all the time that they've been in situations where something has just told them not to go in or not to advance. But that hasn't really happened to me.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I wish I had a better answer for you.
No, that was a great answer.
That was a great one.
Because I mean, not everybody's gonna be like. I know, like I think we had this conversation on, like, we were about to get on the bus, and me and my girlfriend was talking to you, and I was like, my mom and my grandmothers and grandmothers before her, like, quote unquote witch ladies. That's what they've always called each other. So like, I
remember inside the chat.
I remember you used that term.
Yeah, and so like, I kind of get that excess ability off of them to where I can read situations more than like a regular person would be able to. I can look at something and be like, dude, I'm not going in there. Like when we were down there on Bourbon Street, my girlfriend was like, we need to do a tarot reading. We need to do this. And I'm like, the only person reading my tarot cards is my mother. Like I don't rock with that.
Right.
That's just how I've always been. So it's like not everybody's going to have that innate ability to just look at something and be like, this place right here, I ain't going to step in there. But I also feel like you're more braver than I. Like this is, like you said earlier whenever we started, this is kind of your life. You're in tune with these energies all the time. So like you're more eager to go into a place that other people may not want to go inside of.
Well, I also, I go in with a different mindset than most. I try to walk into any situation, whether it be an investigation or anything that has to do with the dead. I try to walk in with respect because I never forget that everybody that I'm looking at or looking to talk to or talk about or investigate, they were just like us until they weren't.
Yeah, a mother, a father, a son, a daughter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and that will be us one day.
I think that was your exact quote on the tour was like, please be respectful on the tour because all these people at one point in time was a mother, a father, a friend.
That's right. You have to be respectful to the spirits.
They were. And, not to throw shade at anybody, and because I wouldn't, because we all have different styles. And, of course, there are people that are much more successful on a national stage than I am. But when I watch investigations and they're antagonistic.
Oh, yeah.
I hate those. I hate those.
I'm like, why? I'm like, come at me, bro. Hit me with this stick.
Oh,
why?
Yeah.
Why? To what
and they
end?
fake it, too.
It makes for great TV, and they're in a much different tax bracket than I am, and good for them.
Well, they're just ripping off professional wrestling. They're just putting professional wrestling and ghost investigation in the same dwell, and that's what they're doing. At least that's what it. As a pro wrestling fan, all eyes of life to me is seen through professional wrestling. So,
and what people don't understand is that
I can see that. Yeah, and that's one thing when I was watching the podcast, when I was looking at the podcast. I'm a huge wrestling fan from the late 70s to the early 2000s. I mean, a massive wrestling fan. So that's one thing I really liked about the podcast.
Oh, we appreciate that. Yeah, I think you went to SmackDown the night before you did our ghost investigation. Well, the ghost tour, the spirit tour.
I did. I went to SmackDown. I enjoyed that. It showed you that, and I've never been a huge Rock fan, but you could tell when The Rock was there, he had that crowd in the palm of his hands. They walked out cheering him, and 2 minutes later they were booing him. And it shows you how a master of that art can handle that audience. It was beautiful.
And not really on the same realm of spirits, but even when you walk into like those older arenas, like I know when I walk into like Rupp Arena where our basketball team plays, and like we've had history with wrestling, with rock, basketball, and everything, you can feel the energy of even that, like seeping through the walls. Like you can feel the energy.
Oh yeah.
The energy of the old ICW, which was our territory back in like the 80s and the 70s and stuff.
Randy Savage.
Yeah, Randy Savage came through with the Paphos territory, and you can feel energy of even that. So
yeah, you just know it's something that's absorbed in the girders. It's something that's been there for all of that. When they tore down the Pontiac Silverdome, I mean, that's where Hogan and Andre fought. There has to be something about that.
Yeah.
I think Pontiac Silverdome was also where Macho Man and Steamboat.
Yeah, that was
WrestleMania 3 was there as well. One of the greatest matches of all time.
I seen a video the other day, and they were it was the demolition of the Silverdome, and they blew it up, but it didn't go down completely. And somebody was like, "That's Hogan no-selling the Silverdome explosion." Like the energy of Hogan made the building not collapse in on itself.
The building just starts shaking and rises back up again. That would be interesting. And then starts selling shitty beer.
That's right. Beer. Shitty beer.
What a waste. What a waste. But
it is.
Not to get on the Hogan thing. So I'm curious because nobody in wrestling. who do you think had the best finishing move?
I mean,
Damn, that's hard. That's hard to choose because there's been so
That
many.
is hard. That is hard.
I mean, I'm not the huge. I will say I don't like Hogan as an individual, but as a professional wrestler, I really think he was I think he was underrated as an actual in-ring worker. So, in my opinion, the leg drop's got to be one of them. All he had to do was just sit on his ass.
Well, that's true. But then again, if you're going to do that, you can also say that the John Tenta's
The
finishing
splash.
was a great. Yeah, the sitting splash. If you're just sitting on your ass, or for that, Yokozuna.
I'd choose Diamond Cutter.
I wish
What was that?
the diamond cutter. You said the diamond cutter.
Diamond Cutter was great because it would just come out of anywhere.
Yeah.
I would
Right.
have to go with
Yeah, many
any
moves.
type of pile driver because you have to put so much trust in somebody to pile drive your neck into a fucking mat.
Not on heart.
Well-
He'll do a sit-out tombstone pile drive when you say, "You're going to your knees, right?" "Yeah, no. I'm going to sit on my ass."
We
for
need to
it."
do a collab, Jeff, where we go to like these old wrestling,
Kimpus Arena.
these old arenas where they used to do wrestling, and see if we can find any old spirits of like
Yes, we
King
gotta do
Harley
an
Race or
I would totally be into that. For me, I have two old school finishers that I like, and I don't know if you'll be familiar with either of them. But Coco Beware was a lesser known wrestler who I'm sure you're familiar with.
yes, sir.
His finisher was devastating. He did what's known as a Ghostbuster suplex. Take a look at that if you get a chance.
Yeah, I'm
It
gonna
was
Yes.
a suplex. It was
I
a
seen that.
suplex DDT, and it was dangerous looking. And he used that. But my favorite of all time is actually a submission move, a submission finisher that was used by George the Animal Steel.
Nice.
was it the claw to the mouth or the claw to the head?
No, it wasn't. It was called a flying hammerlock.
Flying hammerlock.
There it is.
Look that one up.
Hey,
You can find videos of
yeah, my
George
buddy,
Steele and the
we found
flying
it.
my
hammerlock.
buddy's showing us the Coco Beware.
The Brain Buster.
Yeah, the brain buster. Oh my God,
God.
devastating.
It was
Brainbuster was innovative.
it was terrible. It was terrible, but it was beautiful.
And our host, Nice Guy Andy, just walked in the podcast. What's up?
I'm not the host, y'all the host.
You been watching the show?
I'll watch a little bit.
Yeah, we got supernatural investigator Jeff on the line. We're getting into we've gone off of the supernatural. We're talking about wrestling now.
We're talking about supernatural and wrestling.
Yeah.
Supernatural wrestling.
I wonder if anybody has ever done an investigation on like Crispin Waugh's house, because that would be an interesting.
Some supernatural wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, mix both. I think it would be pretty cool.
Yes, it would be.
Honestly, just you gotta let that have to. I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't touch that at all.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah, 'cause that's bad juju.
Yeah, that was just awful.
yeah.
That was just awful.
I remember. Here's a weird story that I have about Crispin Waugh. Is I was a huge Crispin Waugh fan as a kid. He was like my favorite wrestler. Whenever I played the games, I'd play him as the game. And my dad,
I mean,
my dad, who I'm
the
sitting
matches
next
with him and
to,
Dean the matches with
Malenko.
him and Dean Malenko go down. You know, it should be textbook of what a match should be.
yeah, for
As
real.
a wrestler, wonderful person.
But
I mean, as a wrestler, technician, yeah.
But
As a
so
person,
he was
a
my
piece of
favorite
shit.
wrestler ever. And my dad, he found a Crispin Wall toy at Walmart or maybe the Dollar General, wherever, and he brought it home, and that was like my prized possession. And I remember I took it over to my cousin's house, and the dog chewed off the arm of Crispin Wall. And a couple days later, the whole incident happened where he died and all the terrible things that happened with him. But I always thought that was weird that I got that toy. The dog chewed it up, and then a week later, that all happened. That was
I don't even know if it was a week later.
Yeah, it was a
I
couple
think
days.
It might have been a day
It was
after.
June
It might have been the
25th
day
to
afterwards.
27th.
It might have been even the day after or the morning of or something. Because
Remember, he
That is
killed
that-
his son first,
that's a-
wife the next day, and then himself on the third day.
But I always thought
Well,
that
that
was
is-
weird.
That is an odd coincidence, but I have to say it's just a coincidence.
I don't know. It always sat home with me for some reason. I've always thought that. It's always been on my mind for a long time.
Oh yeah,
dog
because
had
it happened
mine,
at an
yeah.
impressionable age.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was.
You know how I got my Christian Wall figure? Won it at a school
You still at a Goodwill?
contest. And then,
You got it in the garbage can out back of Walmart after they threw them all away.
no, I won it from a school contest, and it lasted all until 2007. and both its arms and its legs snapped off
Oh wow.
after so much use.
But back to the
wow.
supernatural. Have you ever had
Yeah.
like, I don't want to bring dark energy onto the show or nothing, but any like sort of possession happened while you're
Too
doing
late,
maybe
bro,
like
dude.
somebody passes out and you have to give them water, maybe even call the ambulance or something like that ever happened?
Anytime someone's ever passed out that I'm familiar with,
Nobody.
it's not been paranormal.
Oh, it's probably been too
It's
much to
because
drink.
You're in New Orleans.
Wendy said it was definitely
Yeah.
odd about your Christmas wall figure.
No, we've never had that. I've never had that happen. I've never had a possession.
Have you
I've
been
never
to
had-
the voodoo shop
Have you been to the voodoo
which one?
shop?
down in New Orleans?
That's
one?
very specific, Johnny.
Well, yeah. Well, that's like saying, have you been to a church? Which one are you talking about?
Right, he's probably
The voodoo
referring to
is-
the Maria Labeau
The one
voodoo
that
shop.
Leon
Oh yeah.
went to.
That's a tourist trap. That's a tourist trap.
Yeah, that's how
The
I
voodoo
felt
is-
when I was going in
Yeah,
there.
voodoo itself is a legitimate religion. Voodoo is one of the world's oldest religions. It predates written word. It was passed down through stories and songs. And there are 20,000 practitioners in New Orleans alone of New Orleans voodoo. And then outside of voodoo, you have Santeria, which is a credible religion. You have juju,
Yep.
you have hoodoo, you have the whole thing. But when someone tells me they're a practitioner of voodoo, I look at that as the same way as if someone were to tell me they're Methodist, because that is their religion. And I hold, and anybody down here, the locals, hold that religion in equal regard to like I'm somewhat of a lapsed Catholic until I drive in snow, and then I find I'm openly Pentecostal, but shouting and screaming at the Lord when my car's spinning backwards. But when someone tells me they're a practitioner of voodoo, I hold that in the same reverence that I do when someone tells me whatever their religion is. So if I've been to the voodoo shops that you will have seen, and those are going to be the touristy places that sell T-shirts and they sell voodoo dolls, like they're like you could curse your enemies and all that. And so I have, yeah, I've been in there to show people the mockery of it. But
Hey, this is Nice Guy Andy. Nice to meet you. Do you
very
know?
nice to meet you as well.
Do you know anybody that practices the voodoo
yeah.
religion? Could you like maybe hook us up with them, and maybe we can get a call from them at some point, like on a different episode?
Maybe for the Supernatural episode 3.
Did we lose him?
Are you still there? Oh, I think he's calling back.
Make another drink.
Yeah.
Hey, did we? I lost you for a moment.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. We was talking about the voodoo. We was talking about the
Yeah, and then
voodoo
and then
religion.
and then my phone started conference calling a random person, but it's not a voodoo practitioner. It's just my fat face touched a bunch of buttons. I have friends that practice voodoo, but I can ask
Yeah.
and see if they.
I'd love to know. I'd
would be
love to
interested.
like talk to somebody that was like a a voodoo
Me too.
preacher, or I don't even know what they call them, a priestess or a priest.
And Leon,
What do they call them?
we will be doing investigations.
a priest or priestess.
Is that
I'll
what they
see
call
what
it?
I can do, but that's you have to treat that as if you were having a minister of a church on there.
Oh yeah, we would treat them with
yeah.
utmost respect. We would
Yeah,
just
you
like
know,
to. We just want information about it, and like because
I'd be happy to. Let me
it's got
make some phone calls and see what I can do.
it's got the stigma of being like an evil thing, and,
Yeah, it gets
Well,
treated
you know
like
why?
that all the time.
You know why it has the stigma of an evil thing.
because of the movies and stuff of stories of
Because
there probably is some.
More than that,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get real with you.
Okay, get real.
Okay, we're talking about a religion of the enslaved. So
Yeah.
let's go back 150 years. Okay,
Yes.
you're not going to talk to the enslaved about the religion they have. You're going to talk to the landowners about the religion that came out of deep, dark Africa. What kind of narrative do you think they're going to give?
Oh, probably not a good one, I'd say.
It's the narrative we have now,
Yeah.
Yep, that's
which
right.
is exactly wrong. It's because New Orleans voodoo is about blessing and healing, but nobody wants to hear about that.
Yeah.
They don't. They want to hear about voodoo dolls cursing people. They don't want to hear that voodoo dolls were actually used for medical reasons, but not for healing. It was like right now, if you go to a doctor, they're going to have a file on you about everything that's ever happened to you.
Yeah.
And they're going to have that file because everybody involved in that is literate. They're able to read that. Now, hypothetically, you're in a culture of illiteracy. For whatever reasons, nobody can read.
Yeah.
It would make sense that you have a doll that would look like you, that would have different pins in it with color-coded pieces of string around it that's going to tell you the treatments that you've had.
Oh, okay.
Voodoo dolls were originally used in New Orleans and other places, Haiti, West Africa, for medical record keeping.
Really?
That's
So
what
it
a
was,
voodoo doll. Yeah,
it was pretty
that's
much
what a voodoo
you.
doll is used for.
Pretty much you with like a pin or something stuck in a place where
Yes.
you have a problem.
It would be it'd be a doll that would be a representative of you. And let's say you came to the priestess because you had a problem with your leg. In that case, they would put the pin in the leg of that doll and a color-coded string for the process that they were doing to treat it, and they would change that out as needed, depending on the treatment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very important.
It's not near as interesting as I'm going to put this in your neck, and that means you're going to get a broken neck.
So do you believe that the side of like the evil stories and the bad stories of voodoo is there? Does that exist, or is that just a myth or a folklore?
It's a myth.
Oh, okay.
Now sympathetic magic is a thing, obviously, where the people will use that, but the whole I'm going to curse on you and your next 4 shits are going to come out square.
Yeah.
No.
That wouldn't be bad. Shit,
Yeah.
shit in a brick would be terrible. Wouldn't
That is the most scariest thought process.
Yeah, your discussion on
Big
the
brick.
tour, I remember like on the way down there, my girlfriend was like, she's like, I'm going to get a voodoo doll and I'm going to freaking make your arm twist backwards and just going on. And when we were on the tour, you basically explained what you just explained to Nice Guy Andy over here. And I looked at her and I was like, I fucking told you. Like, it's not some magic death cult that everybody puts it out to be that Western media would like to make you think that it is. So
how close is Santeria and voodoo? Is it very close, or is it almost the same?
Well, I can't answer that, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I can't answer that because I don't know enough about Santeria.
Yeah.
And I feel I would be doing it a disjustice for those that practice Santeria.
Yeah.
I wish I could,
Yeah.
but I don't want to do any disjustice to those religions by saying how close that I feel they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'd love to talk to somebody about that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a couple phone calls and see what I can do,
Sounds good.
because
We
I
appreciate
I
that.
would,
The first time I heard
help.
about Santeria was
Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz's mom, right?
Yeah, Joey Diaz, he was a real sick. Do you know who Joey Diaz is?
Comedian.
Comedian.
the comedian. Who
Yeah,
I always get confused
cocksucker.
with.
Yeah.
I
Cuban
always
guy?
get him confused with Big Pussy from Sopranos.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But he was a real sick kid, and he lived in I think Queens or somewhere, New Jersey, and his mom didn't know, and they were Catholic and Santeria, like they practiced both, and his mom was like, I'm gonna dip you full fledged. I'm probably doing the story injustice, but this is basically the events that I learned from watching his podcast. Is like.
Yeah.
She's going to dip him fully into Santeria to try to cure him of being like a sickly kid as a young child. So he had to do he had to wear white every Monday, and I think still to this day he still wears whites on Monday. He can't wear shoes in the house on a certain day of the week. He has to he prays to one God. He can't deal with the number 3. Like it's a bunch of bunch of like very meticulous beliefs that they have, and I don't think it's like, I think it's more based on the God that you worship than the whole religion itself. Like there's a bunch of different like not prophets but different deities that you have to entice yourself with, and somebody gives you that personal deity that's going to follow you around your whole life.
Yeah.
That would be definitely something I'll ask about. But every religion has their quirks. You know, that's
Yeah, exactly.
you know, there was a time when in the Baptist church you couldn't use a violin.
Well, now all the Baptist churches smoke meth. At least up here they do.
They're all underwater up here in Kentucky.
They're all
right now.
underwater up here in Kentucky. Yeah,
We have crazy flooding right now up here.
Yeah, they're all underneath water, still doing their meth.
Some of them like will handle snakes, right?
Yeah.
well, that was. I think that's like Pentecostals. They handle snakes. I think that's what they're called, Pentecostals.
I don't know. We need to get some snake handlers
Some snake handlers.
coming to the
No,
podcast.
you know, I watched a documentary about a case in Alabama. It's on Netflix. You can watch it. I forgot the name of it, but it's about a woman who it's always about a woman.
Yeah.
But
Always is.
who tried. Yes, it is. That's why we have blues and country music. But I think she used a snake from a Pentecostal church to try to kill her husband. I saw an hour-long documentary on Netflix on that. Look that up. It was entertaining.
Snakes.
That's crazy.
Watch out for them snakes.
Watch out for
You'll
them
get a
snakes.
reptile dysfunction.
A reptile dysfunction.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all week.
You're here all week. Yeah, we need you here all week.
Paranormal Events is a great show.
Mix a little bit of stand-up comedy with your little with your one-man show.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has been fun, but I got a jet. I got another thing in about 40 minutes. I got to get ready for.
Sounds good,
All right, well,
brother.
you were a treat to have on. We really appreciate you coming on. It was amazing.
Y'all got my number. Keep in touch, and if anything I can ever do down here, and I'm going to try to find somebody for you. And now you know somebody in New Orleans.
All right, thank you
Heck
very much.
yeah,
You
brother.
be safe. Have a great night.
Thank you,
And if you
guys.
want to plug anything before you go, feel free to say anything that you want to say before you go.
Well, my web page is a paranormal. My web page is an Evening of the Unexplained. My Facebook page is a Paranormal Evening of the Unexplained, and hopefully I'll come to a city near you with my stage show.
Yes, sir. We would love to have it.
Heck yeah.
Thank
Kentucky
you
would
very much.
love
And and just remember, friends don't let friends eat at Applebee's.
Yeah,
Take
right.
care.
That's right.
You
Don't eat
take
at
care.
Applebee's, people.
Cheers.
My
Cheers.
stomach's hurting right now listening to that.
Nobody needs that in their life.
The last
Applebee's
time
is
I
not
ate
where
at
you-
Applebee's, it got my brother sick.
Yeah, and we
With
would,
food
and
poisoning.
if you ever do, like you said, you want to get a one-man show up here, if you ever find your way up here, we would love to have you in studio. The phone calls are awesome, but we would love to have you in studio.
I would greatly enjoy that.
Thank you.
Y'all take care of yourself.
You too.
You
Bye-bye.
too, brother.
Well, that was a treat.
That was Geoff.
Yeah. Well, tell what you were saying, Cripple Neck. What was you saying?
I was saying that was Geoff of Paranormal Evenings of the Unknown Kind.
Yeah, that was
If
our.
you're ever in New Orleans, check him out.
Yeah, check him out. That was a really. He takes you to. I think it's like I forget the name of the secret society. I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm not even gonna say it. But he's a part of like a kind of like the Goodfellas. It was the Goodfellas. It's a secret society. I think all around the world. And he took us to one of their cemeteries down
Was
there.
Tommy there?
What?
Was Tommy there?
Tommy who?
From
From the
Rugrats.
Goodfellas.
Flintstones.
Rugrats.
The Rugrats.
No,
Tommy
from the
Pickles is
Goodfellas
buried
movie.
at the fucking
Have y'all not seen the
Goodfellas
Goodfellas movie?
cemetery.
His name is Tommy. Tommy D. Simone.
Oh, the Goodfellas. I don't know, but that movie's about that same thing or not, Johnny.
It's about the Goodfellas, though.
Yeah, the Goodfellas and the Goodfellas are two different things. But he takes you to a bunch of different monuments and a bunch of different mass graves in New Orleans and to the Goodfellas Cemetery. It was a really good time. I think it wasn't expensive at all. It was probably more in like, I think for like 4 people, we paid like $120, which is a steal. I might have been butchering that. But even if you got to pay more, go see our boy Joff down there in New Orleans. He'll take care of you. He's awesome.
New Orleans is a weird place, man. When I was down there, we stayed at the Caesars Hotel, Hotel Casino, and I just, man, every morning I would get up and I'd probably walk about 2 miles just because I was.
You're a
trying to
big
do some
walker.
exercise.
Every time we go somewhere, you fucking.
I do.
Everybody,
I love
we'll be
to
like,
get-
we're gonna go get breakfast. Where's Andy at? He's fucking 5 miles away. Fucking just in the hood, walking in the hood.
I do. I love to go to like the
Hood hopping.
city I go and
He
just
likes
like
to hop the hood.
wherever I'm at, I'll just take off walking about 3 miles away and then come back, and it's just you see way more because every time I go on a vacation with somebody and I have to drive, I don't get to see the sights because I'm driving,
Right.
and they're like telling me, I'm like, just give me directions where you're going, and
We'll figure it out.
but like
from
you
there.
don't get to really, because you got to pay attention to the traffic. And
But you got that feeling from New Orleans? It's like where the devil goes to fucking play cards.
Man, it's just just walking around down there is just like I don't want to say a creepy feeling, but like definitely there's definitely a different feel.
It's an energy to
like
it.
walking in Lexington is a safe place to walk, but like
Yeah.
You still get those energies kind of in Lexington. There's
Yeah,
places
yeah.
where you can get I'm not even talking about like dangerous area. You go to the fucking hood and like even in the hood is in Lexington's you walk down the hood, somebody's not gonna usually 9
the
times out of
hood
10
is-
they're not gonna mess with you. You know what I mean?
Lexington's
It's gonna be a fucking
Not
bum.
anymore. It used to be back inside the 90s.
Lexington's so safe.
But there's places in Lexington where even like when I go to the courthouse or I go to even where's the place where they used to auction off the slaves? What's that place called?
Cheapside.
Cheapside. You go to that area, that little strip right there where the courthouse is. There's a vibe right there.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a spiritual vibe, especially in New Orleans when like the hurricane hit and a bunch of people just died, and then you take tours and they show you where the levees broke and how many people drowned in this area, and it's definitely a city of death. I feel like,
Yeah.
and because of the cemeteries, like you go to town, you don't really go and visit a cemetery, but in New Orleans, the cemeteries
they're
are
everywhere.
famous.
Yeah,
they're
they're
everywhere
everywhere,
because
yeah.
they're above ground. And
You see them while driving. You know what I mean? Like whenever
Yeah.
you're driving in a different place, you see a cemetery, you just look at it. But whenever
Yeah.
you're in New Orleans, you look at it, you're like, oh, there's a cemetery
because
right
they
there.
have these little buildings and then they put your family in there, and then when your body decomposes, you get moved down underneath, and they put somebody else on your spot. It's like that's how those work.
Yeah.
It's like you put you in, and then after so long, your body decomposes, and they put you in a smaller box, and they put you underneath the bottom, like in the basement of this monument kind of thing, and then they put somebody else in there. And then, like, after so many years, that body decomposes, and they put them in a little box, and they just keep putting people in there. And, like, it's just... It's a
definitely-
family thing. It's a family thing then down
It's
there.
definitely a weird vibe. Like I haven't been to every city in America.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but like you go to different cities, you go on vacation and stuff, and it's definitely
It's
a
I wonder
different
it's
energy, a
because there's
different
so
vibe.
many dead bodies above ground than there is like in a regular city. Because in a regular city, all the dead bodies are below the ground. If you go to that city, all the dead bodies are above the ground.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just
and New Orleans has a bunch of weird. Louisiana and a whole like. Fucking, there was vampire tours. There's fucking. I know when I went and got my tattoo, I thought I was gonna get fucking sex trafficked or vampired. I'm not even gonna
so
lie.
many. Like it's just so old of a place, man. You walk down the French Quarter down there, and it's just these places are just. It's just so like
It's the
buildings are so
architecture, yeah.
old, and it
doesn't even kind of feel like America.
And walking down there, you have to watch because the sidewalks are just trashed. The
Yeah.
sidewalks are just. It's just a different. It's a different place. It really is.
It's a beautiful. I think the locals there are like the city has a bad vibe to it.
Yeah.
Not to say like it's run down or shitty or anything, but it has just a deeper, darker vibe to it. But the people there,
Yeah.
are what's the light of the city. Like I talked to so many people just walking Bourbon Street or at fucking Walmart, and all the people that were from there that was telling us about Mardi Gras and all these other things. Those people were genuine, great people to talk to. Seemed like great people. Like it feels like the city might have an energy to it, but the people really bring out the light. If that
I don't
makes
know
any
if
sense.
I don't know. I'm sure he wasn't lying to me, but I'm sure there's some evil voodoo people down there. I'm sure.
I'll have
Yeah,
well, it's like
there he is.
it's like fucking anything. Like anything's gonna have an asshole.
Dark
you know what I
side of
mean?
it,
Anything's
yeah.
gonna have
There's
a.
at least going to be at least
Probably
20%.
There's always gonna be one Kentucky fan that we don't like. You know what I mean? Like, well, man, you make me want to root for Tennessee. You fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a bunch of voodoo people down there that just do it just.
Or maybe they don't
Yeah.
even. Maybe they got into it for that reason of some evilness. Like they don't even like what he was saying was the roots of it and everything else, and how most
the
people.
original.
But there's
voodoo.
probably some people that went there and was just like, I want to be a fucking piece of trash. Like I don't care about
Or
the,
they just
I don't
built
care.
evil.
I don't care about the rituals. I don't care about this. I'm gonna use this for my advantage and my advantage
What the
only.
words voodoo
It's gains. Hey, Leon, you were talking about you were scared to go into a place if it has bad voodoo.
Yeah.
Would you be feeling like that when we go on investigation?
I'll put my fears aside, but I don't like scary shit really. Like I don't want to. I'll go in there, but I like to stay away from shit like that. But we're talking about it right now, so I'm not really doing. What do you guys say? Black got Kenny Mulligan.
I know there's a stigma to
Voodoo,
but I believe there's also people who practice black magic voodoo. Where
I think it could possibly be even an intertwine of voodoo and European magic to put together. Because fuck white people, they were probably the ones, you know what I mean? Some fucking white German was like, yeah, I'm going to use this voodoo shit and I'm going to fucking trick people, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely some, like...
It probably just wasn't the slave owner saying it was a bad thing. It was probably like the slave owner going to the maybe it maybe have been even a way for the slave to be like scare the slave owner of like, hey, I got some of this voodoo shit I'll put on you. You know what I'm saying? They were like, oh, hey, maybe I'll treat you a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Maybe.
But no, I kind of think what he said more, it's
probably both sides.
It's black people they've been marginalized in American culture. So I mean, if they were slaves, they brought over there was like, dude, like this is our culture. Like, nah, you're gonna be a fucking Christian. You're gonna worship my God. Your fucking stupid shit that you fucking put pins in is ridiculous. You're not allowed to worship that. I'm your owner. That's to me like it makes more sense than
the religious.
I feel like there was definitely probably some like Catholic person was like, this is evil. They fucking put hex on my daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter just fucked a black guy. Like, we're not, you know what I mean? Like that, there's probably a bit of that in it to where like, like it was definitely probably some indoctrinated racism on top of it.
Because I mean, if we're talking about like Catholics or whatever, you do something wrong in their religion and they will curse you to burn in hell for all eternity.
And touch your kids.
They call
Shout out Pope
themselves
Francis.
great people.
So I imagine that there's a good side to voodoo, and then there's people who practice voodoo and black magic and combine it to do these bad things or try to do bad things.
Oh, yeah.
Put that negative energy in
you
the
probably
air.
you got some bad Catholics too. I know that.
Well,
there he is.
Have you ever seen a fucking Catholic person? They look
look
like they're doing
evil.
magic. Yeah, the fucking Pope looks like he could conjure a fucking conjure some fucking Yu-Gi-Oh shit on you.
How evil did Benedict look? And he retired. Why? Like he retired. And the new one, right? Francis.
Is he still alive? Is the last Pope still alive?
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's really
he is.
sick. He was really sick. But Benedict he retired. Like he was the only Pope that didn't retire by dying. He retired and moved away. I wonder why he did that. I wonder why.
It's crazy. As a kid, when I first seen a picture of that guy, that Pope,
The Benedict?
I recoiled in terror.
That was
I'm
me
like,
with
what
Michael
the-
Jackson. The first time I seen a picture of Michael Jackson, I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm so dead ass. The first time I ever seen a picture of Michael Jackson, he had like a cheetah print outfit on. I was like, that is a fucking demon. Get away
Was
from
it
me.
because of the messed up nose job? Is that what
It was just because of him. And then somebody told me that Michael Jackson was black one time. I was like, you're fucking retarded. Don't tell me that shit.
Did you see him inside
What are
the
you
80s?
talking about?
Yeah.
I've seen him since then. I know that he's an African American, but I thought Michael Jackson
was
was
a
like,
kid.
I thought he was a fucking like
Vertigo.
a demon. I thought he was like a cat person or something. I didn't-
Cat first.
Definitely.
Hey,
weird.
funny that you mentioned that because he was a cat demon inside of his music video Driller.
So
Demon, you're right.
this is the sip with the supernatural. We're sipping some Sazerac rye made of some. I mixed the melon liqueur. That's what they drink down in Louisiana. I mixed it with some Sazerac. I'm calling it the Kentucky Grenade.
Cheers.
But, we haven't told a ghost story yet on the pod. Anybody
Not
got
yet.
Anybody got something brewing? I got a story right before we went to New Orleans. But if anybody
I
wants
got
to,
a story, but it ain't really much a ghost story.
well,
It's more
we
of
talk
a
about anything.
weird story. Like, me and I assume it was like 6 or 7 years ago. Me and my wife were like, we were. She had just started her new business, and shout out to Royal up there. If anybody's doing any internet gaming, go contact with her. But we were looking for something for her office or getting office supplies or something. We went to Staples and we bought some stuff and we used a credit card, right? We used a neon yellow Cash App card, which back when they used to have the neon. I don't know if they still do or not.
Yeah, they probably do. I got
Cash
my
App.
Cash App card is like holographic. And like you put your, it's like a mood ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine
This
is
one-
black.
This one was neon yellow.
I don't know why I thought that was so
We
funny.
used that at that Staples, right? Okay. We used that credit card at that Staples, bought something. We had gotten a little argument, was kind of pissed with each other. We were headed to the house, and then we kind of made up and was like, oh, we still need to get this thing from Walmart. And let's go check Walmart and see if they got this thing. I don't know what we were looking for. We turned back around. The Walmart and the Staples are probably a mile away from each other. Turned back around from going to the house. Turned back around. Hadn't got out of the car since we got into Staples. We pulled down the drive. We pulled down one of the lanes at the Walmart, and I looked out the window, and there was a neon yellow Cash App card on the ground. Like, I looked out the window, and like we was going kind of slow. I pulled into the parking spot, got out, went over there and picked up that Cash App card. It was my wife's Cash App card that we had just used at Staples.
Damn.
Yeah, that's weird. And y'all just got out in the car, right?
We had used it at Staples, got in the car, was headed home. I think we had a little argument or something and made up, figured out that we needed something from Walmart, turned back around, went into the parking lot, pulled into that driveway, and it just happened that I pulled into that parking lane. And it was, I looked out the window. I said, "Oh, there's a Cash App card on the ground." There's a.
She's like, I'm gonna buy me a fucking honey bun at
So
a
I
gas
pulled up.
station.
I pulled up. I pulled up into the lane. Gary going to the. I jumped out and I was like, "I'm gonna grab it and see what it is." And I'm like, chills came over me. I was headed back to I was like, "This is your fucking Cash App card."
I think y'all just jacked alternate universe Wendy's Cash App card.
I don't know what it was. To this day, I don't. It gives me cold chills to even think about. And I don't know what's the weird, like, what does it mean? What happened? Did we cross over another universe? Are we in a simulation? What the fuck happened? It was her Cash App card with her name on it.
Yeah.
Laying in the Walmart parking lot.
Plus, y'all remember
We
where
had
y'all
been
put
to
it.
Walmart that day. We had used that card at the Staples.
And y'all don't remember ever taking it out of her purse or anything.
Use it at the Staples.
So how did it get out there?
That's like that's at least like a 10-minute drive from Hamburg to the not a 10-minute drive, but more like a 6 to 7 minute drive from Hamburg to the Walmart over in like closer to Winchester Road.
And the fact that it was laying out there.
It was on the ground, laying in the driveway, the lane of the parking lot. I don't know why that. That's just a
It
weird.
could have been a trick inside simulation, or it could have been an alternate
We had a
universe type
conversation
thing.
last show about how you were too poor as a kid to believe in ghosts.
Too poor as a kid.
To believe in ghosts. He was like, I'm too worried about getting my baked beans and cornmeal to believe in ghosts. Like, is this ghost going to steal my...
I never was. I mean, we always we moved a lot when I was a kid, and we were just I don't know. As a kid, I was so afraid to admit that I was afraid of something. I would not admit that I was afraid of something at all, of nothing.
Your brother beat you up and then your dad beat you up.
My brother would beat me up, and I'm still not scared of you, but I'd flinch if he was.
Did you at least fight your brother?
Oh
when he
yeah,
tried
we
to beat
fought
you
all the
up?
time. Yeah.
You're like, I'm more scared that we're going to fight than to believe in ghosts. To tell him that I believe in ghosts.
I mean, there was times when I would.
Well, you told me that you used to live close to like West 6th.
We lived over there
Brewery,
in West Strict Street,
and there was a haunted house that you lived in.
we lived in that haunted house. I lived. My grandpa's house was upstairs, and they lived downstairs, and we lived upstairs. They had turned it into like an apartment, an unofficial apartment building.
Yeah.
We lived upstairs, and they lived downstairs. They cut off a couple rooms, and we lived upstairs, and they lived downstairs. And I would just sometimes I'd just wake up and heard somebody, Andrew, and I'm like.
Oh, shit.
I go in the other room and look, and I'm like, all right, I went back to sleep.
Does that happen to UPS to you, Andy? Because it happens to me quite a lot where I'm sitting there, I'm walking around, and I hear somebody go, Leon! And I look around, nobody's fucking there.
I'll hear people holler my voice all the time for some reason. I don't know.
That's accurate. That's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
I have my headphones on.
Yeah, and my shit's soundproof. Like, I can't hear nothing through it, but I can hear somebody yell, Leon.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Like, I don't know if it's my brain or somebody calling,
somebody talking about you or something.
Telepathy or
Telepathy.
saying my name, but like, or just a memory of somebody saying my name pops in my head or something. But it always feels like somebody, every once in a while, somebody will, Andy or Andrew or Rue or Drew.
Or draws.
Or draws.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like somebody's always hollering my name. Like, I don't know.
Like at least once a day, I will turn around and do a 360. Like I swear, someone just
Like the manager just called my name.
Yeah,
and
like-
nobody's here.
exactly.
I think that's kind of a telepathy thing. I think people are. I think we have a.
Yeah.
I think humans have a unknown that we've been taught to forget.
Brain link.
I think we have a link between each other that has been like taken away from us on purpose, or we just somehow forgot about it after we got phones and stuff. I don't know.
It's where that old saying came from. It was saying that your ears will burn if someone's talking about you.
Yeah,
Or it's like when you get cold chill, somebody's walking on your grave.
I've never been one to be able to be somebody to be able to walk up on me. Like if I was in this room asleep and somebody came in this room, I think I always wake up. I have like, I can tell if, I don't know about an ability, but I can tell if there's another person in the room. Like I can just feel their presence.
Right.
If I'm like even over there in the corner sleeping and somebody walked in my room, I can tell that, and you guys say that there's stuff at my house now. I've never, and I sleep downstairs sometimes, and you was making fun of me having my little bed.
Wrestling sheets.
Yeah, but like
I've had way too many weird experiences happen at your house to not be like, it's not. I don't think it's
never feel anything creepy.
I don't think
there.
it's. I don't. It's not really ever. I've had one creepy. I've had a couple creepy experiences. Let me say one. But like, I've never been like. It's never to a point where like I don't want to come over to your house because I feel like a fucking ghost is gonna fucking rape me or something.
Yeah.
But like, I always like. I know I've been downstairs and like me and Aaron and Darren were hanging out and we hear noise coming from the garage and we go back there and I have this old clock radio and that motherfucker, it's just sitting there. There ain't no way that you've plugged it in, I've plugged it in, somebody else has plugged it in, but that thing is plugged in and it's on and it's fucking sprouting. Oh, Kentucky basketball. It's doing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've had experiences like that. I know one time I was, my bed was on the floor downstairs in the basement and I heard, like, you can tell when somebody's walking down those stairs.
Oh, or
even
upstairs,
slightly, non-slightly, they don't want to. So I heard somebody creep down the stairs one night, and I was like, it's fucking dad doing the dishes, or doing not the dishes, but the laundry, something. So whoever's coming down, I didn't really pay no attention. And I felt something fucking, my bed was on the ground, so I felt somebody stand on my bed and just do that. And that, I'm not fucking putting on grace. I just threw the covers over my head. I was like, I ain't fucking looking. But that's definitely happened. The whole Amelia and Caleb thing, I know I heard them laughing one time.
Yeah.
I've had experiences at the house to where it's like, I don't think that your house is haunted, but it's in that house also it's a, I think it's more of a beacon of energy, not really a haunted house.
Yeah.
You ever done mushrooms in the basement?
No, I've not done mushrooms. I maybe have done mushrooms in the basement.
It's like
People would probably be afraid of a ghost. You
there's
didn't even know.
no, it's not even a presence of a ghost, but so the basement down there, it has like a tarp over the window and then over the big window, and then there's a door and the window got busted out, so we have like a big wooden plank. And so when you do like any sort of psychedelics down there, it's like time doesn't exist. Only you and whoever else and the pictures and shit on the wall, that's what exists in that frame of time. So there's a part of me that thinks that the house that we live in it's not a haunted house, but it's kind of a beacon of energy. Like, just think of how many people have stepped foot in that house, how many good things, bad things, and different things has happened there. It's just
That's true.
It's more of a beacon of energy than I think like a haunted house.
I've never had a bad I've never had a bad feeling in that house ever.
And the only other person to ever live there, his name was Leland.
Yeah, well, that's a whole story by itself. Because Leland, the person that old man and old woman, and then they had their kids, and I guess they weren't old when he built the house, but his name was Leland, and he built the house, and we didn't tell the woman the baby's name when we bought the house, and Leland was 9 months, 8 months old, 9 months old.
Yeah, probably around that time.
About 7 months old, because he
was about to have his first birthday real soon.
Yeah.
we started living there when he was about 7 or 8 months old, and because because he started walking at 9 months old.
They started walking in that house.
And we were at the signing, the closing of the house, and we were signing and we said the baby's name was just Leland, and he's not a baby now, he's 14, and the mom,
And a good basketball player.
the daughter that was selling the house was like, "What did you just say?" And she's like, "Yeah, Leland loves he crawls around and he really likes the house." And she's like, "Leland was my dad's name that built that house." And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then for some weird reason, he would always, when he was real little, he'd walk around the house and he'd be like, "I built this house."
Yeah.
He said that at least once or twice.
And he loves the house, and he feels so at home there, and it probably end up being his at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, fuck you too.
Yeah, well, you got your own house, so.
I mean, your name is Leon. His name is Leland.
Oh, fuck you too, Johnny. I hope
I mean,
Icon breaks your fucking neck again, you fucking bitch.
He built the house, man.
Well, you're a fucking bad deal
I
for
lived
you.
in the house. He fucking built it.
You should have built another one before. You should have built.
They would have been like, "Oh,
You should have
Leon built this
one-
house."
You should have built one in another lifetime, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leon.
I don't know who.
Like
I'll probably
Leland.
end up dying there, I'm sure. I mean, I got.
So
all
you've
my-
never felt nothing weird?
nothing ever. I've never felt anything bad at that house ever.
No energy.
But I mean, I don't get creeped out by that kind of stuff anyway. Like I'm more if I hear something, I'm like, who the fuck's in my house? Who the fuck am I gonna get the fuck up? Because like you in my house and you ain't supposed to be there, I'll probably get to fuck you up. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a very violent person,
You're
but
gonna fight a ghost?
It's not hell yeah, if I have to.
It's like the
That's why I
shotgun-
tell the babies, I'm like, you don't gotta be scared of no ghost, because I'm a whoop its ass, whatever it is. Like
It's gonna be sit home.
if it's a monster, I'm gonna fuck it up. Like I'm gonna try to, like, I'm not a badass,
If
but
it's a monster underneath the bed, I'm gonna kick its teeth in.
I'm not a badass or nothing.
A
But
fucking skid walker or something could walk in the house and nice guy would be like, "Sir, you gonna pay me some? You gonna pay the electric bill to stay here? Or what's going on?"
No, I'm just
yeah,
gonna.
if you
grab
live in
my
this
fucking
motherfucker, you have
head
to
and
pay
throw
some
it out.
bills, bitch.
But yeah, if there is any ghosts, I
I've never
gotta
been.
pay the bills over time.
I've never been scared of like stuff like that. I mean, if I watch a creepy movie or something, I'll get scared of that kind of stuff. But like, as far as like, and I've had some creepy feelings, but like,
Well, tell me
I don't know.
one
I
here.
guess
What's
I've
one
been
of 'em?
more like interested in seeing what it is.
Yeah,
Or
you gotta.
I've got
You're the type of person that's gonna see, is it real or am I just having something that's playing tricks on me?
I mean, I lived in that old house over there on 6th Street, and a kid got murdered like
Oh damn!
freaking like maybe 25, 30 foot from my street, like my front of my door, because like we lived in Ellsbury Park, and they have like there's a neighborhood, and then there's a gate there, and the gate, they have these big block, pillars, and then they had a gate in between it, and I guess you used to be able to walk through there, and you'd be able to walk in that neighborhood, but somebody long ago chained it up and not let the other
Yeah,
neighborhood into our neighborhood, and it was an older neighborhood of bigger house. You ever been in like a neighborhood where there's like, it's a shitty neighborhood, but then in the middle of that shitty neighborhood's this old, like traditional, like not traditional, but an old like older neighborhood that's got bigger houses, and it's like, there were some rich people in that neighborhood at some point.
yeah.
But like the houses are ran down as now, and it's like, not that to say that neighborhood was rained down. It was just, I have no idea why my grandpa was living there, because he had no money. I mean, but like the kid, somebody was chasing the kid with a shotgun down the street, and we don't live in a really bad town, and he tried to go through that gate, and he couldn't get through that gate, and they shot him right there on the other side of that gate. And I wasn't there that day, but my dad was there, and he was, he'd been in the war and stuff, and he freaked out, and he went outside with his gun, and he was like, until the police got there, he was like, he had flashed
He was
back.
locked in.
He had flashed back, man. He was like, he was gonna like, he really had a bad hard day that day.
Yeah, PTSD kicked in.
Tell the story of the. I wish that, like, I don't even know if it's appropriate because it's Papaw's story, and I don't want to disrespect him or anything. But the story about the guy chasing him around his living room.
Oh, he was in Vietnam, right? And he killed this one guy. He said he killed this one guy. I'd have to have him on to tell the story right, but he had killed this one guy. And he at that time, my dad was like, he was alcoholic and was on not really drugs, but just drinking a lot and just. But me and him, and he'd take me to school in the mornings, and I'd ride with him, and then, or he'd pick me up from school, and we'd sit there in the car, and we'd talk about this and that, and this and that, and he'd tell me, what was going on with him, and he'd tell me these old war stories, and pretty much like I was his
therapist,
pretty much. He was just telling me all this shit, and he worked on and off jobs and didn't have a whole. He didn't have a career, he didn't have a job that he went to all the time. He was just a hustler in the streets, and I don't know what that means, but that's what he was telling me. And he'd get out here and hustle, and I know he always did odd jobs and fix somebody's car or hang drywall or something, and he'd always take us to help him. And several times I've been underneath somebody's car and holding somebody's transmission on when my dad was putting the transmission in. He'd be like, hold it. And I'm 10 years old, and I'm holding this fucking 200-pound transmission, and fuck, you let it slip, boy, you let it slip. Fuck. I don't know if he was fucking with me or we just was mad, but
some people get their dads just to hold the flashlight. They get mad at him. You're holding the fucking
Yeah,
I'm holding the fucking.
I've been through that.
I'm holding the ass end of this transmission, and he's trying to put a bolt in it, and I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like, my arms are going. I'm he was just that kind of guy. I mean, he's still around. I'd love to get him on the podcast, and I probably will at some point.
We need to.
He has so many crazy stories. What was I talking about?
We were talking about how the guy chased him around.
In his dreams, he told me one day, he's like, he don't chase me no more. And I'm like, what are you talking about, Pops? And he's like, that he called him a gook. He said, that gook, and that's what they called those guys in Vietnam, the opposite side, the Viet Cong or whatever.
Yeah.
And he said, that's probably a bad name, word, but that's what he said. But that's what they called him back then.
Wait, did anybody else did you whisper?
Me.
Okay, you whispered. Okay. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I heard something.
He said he ain't chasing me no more. He's like, I was like, what are you talking about, Pop? He's like, last night, he said he caught me. And I was like, who caught you? He's the guy. He's been chasing me for 25 years at this point. And I'm like, he chases me every single night around my bed. And I was like, he said he caught me last night. I thought I was dead. I thought he was going to kill me. But we sat down and talked, and he's like, he forgave me. And he hasn't chased me in a week now. Or something like that, and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy."
That's
apparently some guy that he had accidentally. What I understand is he accidentally killed him. I didn't mean to kill him. He's like, I was having a bad that day, and I killed that guy. He didn't mean to be. He was on the other side, but he didn't mean to be killed or something like that.
That guy came back to say, "I forgive you."
He said he forgave him. Deep. And he after that, he stopped drinking and everything. He didn't drink very much after that. He got really sober and so. But it'd be better for him to tell the story. I don't.
Yeah, because he knows a lot of details that we don't know.
Oh, this is crazy growing up with the dad that was the Vietnam veteran. There was times when I would wake up in the middle of the night and my dad'd be sitting by the door on fire watch, with a shotgun, just acting like he's gonna fucking. He was protecting us.
Yeah, I wonder if he has any ghost stories. That'd be cool to have him up in here.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Because there are soldiers that have accounts of seeing things that was not there.
Yeah.
I got a story. Recent story. We were going to New Orleans the next day, and we were going to New Orleans the next day, so we were sleeping over at Taylor's friend's house. And the house that we're not living in, but staying at is like one of the oldest houses in Berea. The house literally next door has a plaque on it of the original dean of Berea College.
Yeah.
And so, and like the house isn't creepy, but like you can tell it's an older house. And older houses kind of got that energy to them, that vibe to them. And so I'm sleeping, I'm snoozing on the couch, and I know you can't hear it on the mic, but I hear just dudesing down the stairs, and I'm like, I'm not a light sleeper. I'm more of a light sleeper at somebody else's house. Like if I went to sleep at your house, Kenny, or your house, Johnny, if you came downstairs, I'm gonna wake up more than if I was at my house and was asleep.
That's right.
And so I hear walking, I hear doors closing, doors opening, and I lift my head and I do the whole oh fuck, we're gonna get going soon. I'll get Taylor up in a second. I open my eyes and there's somebody standing in front of me, and I thought it was Taylor's friend's boyfriend, and he's just staring at Taylor. And I'm like, yeah, bro, we're gonna get up. I'm gonna wake her up in a second. Vanishes, nothing there. And I was like, I know I heard people walking around, at least a person walking around, and I know I just seen somebody. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like there's no way for me to explain that. Like there was a person standing there staring at my girlfriend, and when my eyes fully, because I was like groggy, like you wake up, you see, like you're like kind of seeing blurry, but you can see an outline of a person. And that person was just standing there looking at Taylor, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna get up, we're gonna get on the road here soon. You need me to get my bags or whatever, and I look up and nobody's there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that was right before we went to New Orleans. And then Taylor was like, it's like, motherfucker, I've been up for 2 hours and I did not hear you say a thing. I was like, bro, I literally said, yeah, we're about to wake up. And I sat there, I just threw the covers over my head. I was like, I ain't fucking going back to sleep. But that is the
logical way of thinking.
That was the most recent scary story that I had over the past couple months. And that was right before we went to New Orleans.
That's a crazy story, too.
I know you had a story really recently. You want to share it, Kenny?
Which one?
The one of your backyard when it was raining that night.
Talking about the one.
Get up on the mic a little bit.
Talking about when I was on the mic and heard someone start beating on my back door.
Yeah, that's the
Middle
one.
of
The
the
one
night.
that you told me in my house a couple weeks ago whenever we was chilling.
Yeah, I was playing Xbox with y'all. Had my headset on, and we wasn't even playing like a war game or anything loud. And I had game volume down, just listening to party chat, talking to y'all. And suddenly, I start hearing something fucking doom, doom, doom. I'm like, what the fuck? And I pull one of my earpieces off, and I'm listening again, and I can still hear it. And it's not on my headset. It's clearly outside. I hear do 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 on the fucking door. I'm like, what the fuck? I can now see with each knock that my wall is shaking. Like,
Wow.
the fucking wall, my drywall is shaking with each knock. So I know that it's not in the game. It's not in my head. I can see the wall shaking. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Just when I'm thinking, like, who would even fucking be knocking on the back door right now? I'm thinking maybe my uncle maybe got locked out or something, and he's like in the rain, like, open the fucking door.
Motherfucker, yeah. Kenny,
But-
come open the door.
But I'm not hearing no voice or nothing, and that's when the do 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 turns into what sounds like someone's fucking kicking the door, just trying to kick it down. I can't really make the sound on the mic. I don't think it's gonna
Yeah.
pick it up, but it sounded like someone put their fucking steel toe boots to the door, and my whole fucking wall was vibrating. My TV was vibrating, and I just said on the mic, I said, hold the fuck on. Someone's trying to beat my fucking door down. So I put my headset on, unlocked my locker cabinet, unlocked the gun cabinet, pulled out my gun, put the flashlight on, and peered around the corner with the flashlight on, and I seen a half of a face in the glass where my flashlight showed that whole area. A ghostly white face was staring back at me, and just this half of a face. When my light hit it and I registered seeing that it was a face, it just dipped out of I could see half of the face in the glass, and it dips into the darkness, just steps backwards and to the left. So I'm like, oh no, we're not having this. I turn the safety off and I get ready to rack a chamber as I open the back door, and I'm looking around in the backyard. I'm checking it with a flashlight in the rain, and I don't see anything at all. But I have a 7-foot tall privacy fence around the whole backyard, and unless you're like on some speed or something, you're not climbing that fucking fence.
Yeah.
And definitely not that quick, because I came out that door just as quick as I seen that face. I'm like, oh, no, we're not having this.
So how did the DoorDash guy get in your backyard?
Yeah, how did he get there?
I don't know how DoorDash got in my fucking backyard that night.
It's like, is there barbed wire on top of the fence?
It's like, I didn't order a pizza tonight.
Yes.
Damn, I forgot that I was ordered at Taco Bell.
There's barbed wire on the back side of the fence.
Wow. So you didn't find anybody?
There was nobody in the backyard. I checked the whole backyard with the flashlight and getting ready to rack a chamber. If I seen anybody, I was going to rack that chamber and let them know what's up. Because everybody knows when you hear everyone knows that sound, you know. You're like, all right.
That's right.
That's crazy that you did actually seen a face. Like, what did it look like, the face? Like, is this...
It looked like, you know, in tragedy and comedy, where there's like a white masked face and there's like an eye slot, but it's just black eyes and like a black smile. That's what it was. Just like the comedy face of tragedy and comedy. It was like just a ghostly white.
This is what when you tell it, I picture this.
Yeah, like
The guy from the fucking Logan movie.
Yeah.
But it was less human than that. Like it did. When I seen it, I was like,
And how do you still live there?
how do I still live there?
Well, didn't you say
I know.
I live on Native American burial grounds.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to bring up. Didn't you say that Wilmore is like built on like a Native American
Yes.
burial ground?
Wow, that's crazy.
That's nothing compared to what he told us the last time he was on here.
About the going to the river and stuff?
The river, yeah.
I heard that one.
The beating on my door happened a couple weeks ago, but like 6 months prior to that, I was in another party where I heard somebody screaming. It sounded like a woman screaming bloody murder outside of my window. I took my headset off and I stared at my window, and I couldn't see nobody out there, but my brain just started calculating like, all right, first of all, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. How would you be in my backyard? Why would you be in my backyard? And what could possibly be making you scream in my backyard? Like, I thought about it. I was like, I don't even think I'm going to go check on this one. So I just got back on my headset and kept playing games. But when the beating on my back door happened, I had to go check that out. Like, I can't, like, you can scream in my backyard and die. I don't care. Like, the cops or whoever will find you the next day. It'll be all right. But you're beating on my back door. I had to go and investigate. And what made me at first thought it was my uncle is like it started as a knocking, but when it turned into like someone trying to kick my door down, that's what freaked me out. I'm like, my TV on the wall is shaking.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could survive that. After that, I'd still be trying to figure out what the fuck.
Yeah, you'd be trying to figure out.
I still would be trying like what happened that night. I would be like, I would be unsettled. I wouldn't be able to be.
Yeah, let me tell you something else that's very unsettling about where I live. Sometimes I like to make a campfire and cook marshmallows and steak and stuff on the campfire. And one cold winter night, I decided to build a campfire. And I was out there for a couple hours. And I was enjoying myself, right?
On the camera, it looks like you're doing something else.
This guy's.
Leon was doing a whole lot of activity there.
We ain't got no soda, so I'm mixing it with fucking water.
Yeah, I used to enjoy building a campfire and just watching the campfire in my backyard. And until one night when this feeling, this completely unnerving and uncomfortable feeling began to wash over my backyard. And it felt as though I was being stalked, as I was being hunted, like I was some kind of prey in my own backyard.
Yeah.
And I didn't like this feeling at all. And I was like, I wonder, what time is it So I pulled out my phone, and I saw that it was just past 3 in the morning. That's when I thought to myself, okay.
It's time to go inside.
It's about time.
It's the devil's hour.
I thought for a second, I wanted to sit and enjoy the fire. I thought for a second I was just going to go inside and get my gun and come back outside. But that uneasy, uncomfortable feeling, it was like I was just being watched. And even if I had a gun, I wouldn't have felt comfortable. It felt like something was just staring at the back of my skull no matter where I watched in the yard.
I think that's the weirdest feeling of all, when you feel like you're being watched from behind. I know when in the around the neighborhood that you live in, I've as a teenager, I'd go walk around my friends at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning just because we're fucking delinquent teenagers and shit. And no matter where I went in that neighborhood, it always felt like somebody was watching me.
But it's odd because the whole night I was chilling for 3-4 hours from 9 p.m. to almost 2-3 a.m. Right, I'm chilling, cooking my steak, eating some marshmallows, and then that just dreadful feeling began to wash over the yard. Like something was telling me it didn't like me there, and it sure as hell didn't want me there. Just for these other events to unfold.
So that's a fact of Wilmore, is it's built on burial ground, or
is
just
it more like a tall tale?
Is that a tall tale? Or is that your neighborhood, or what?
As far as I know, it is built on a Native American burial ground. I don't know the full extent of the truth behind that, though.
We had to get somebody from
Wilmore.
Yeah, we do.
Wilmore that knows actually what's going on with that.
Well, close to the Nicholsville border, on the farm that we used to live on, Tiggs Creek, all the way out by past the winery and stuff. My Aunt Shauna, when she lived in the trailer, she said one night she woke up and she seen a full fucking Native American person in a headdress just chilling in the trailer, and she fucking chased him around the fucking trailer.
That's crazy.
I know one time we was out at the farm. It was the Bobby sets off fireworks every year at the farm on 4th of July.
Yeah.
And Aaron buys all the fireworks and shit. And so we're all sitting inside. Bobby's outside setting up the fireworks for the night. And Nancy's brother's out there sitting with Bobby while he's lighting up the fireworks and stuff, getting them ready. And everybody else is in the house. Me, Aaron, Darren, Sean, Shauna, Taylor, Lacey, Nancy, whoever's there. Nancy's mom. We're all sitting inside the trailer. And you know that there's 2 doors on the trailer. There's the one where the patio is. It's the back door technically, but I always call it the front door.
Yeah.
And so you know how they got that deck on the back, right, with the walkway up? Nobody ever uses that fucking door. Back when I lived there, there wasn't a fucking patio right there. If you opened that door, you'd fall the fuck out.
So many people fall out that door.
So somebody comes and you just hear on the back door of the trailer. The front door of the trailer, and we're like, everybody looks confused because we're like, nobody uses that fucking door. It was like, Bobby must really need something if he used that fucking door, which it didn't make no sense because Bobby was just beside the cars and the trampoline setting up the fireworks, so it wouldn't be that much of a walk. It'd be more time inducing to go walk all the way out front and go up those stairs to fucking knock on the door. And everybody's looking at everybody and they're like, you gonna open the door? And I was like, fuck it, I'll open the door. I open the door, nobody's there. Me and then I walk outside to Bobby. I'm like, did you go knock on the door? He's like, nah, we've been sitting here setting up the fireworks.
Wow.
Yeah.
When we lived there was we didn't build a front. I built that deck on the back, but I never built the front deck. I just didn't build it. I just didn't build one there. We lived there for 6 or 7 years without a door there. We just didn't have no reason. I didn't have no reason to go out that door. I mean,
I always got weird vibes living in the trailer as a kid.
Yeah, the trailer was more I had more weird shit going on there than I did in the house I live in now.
What about Withers? Because as a kid, I had many shit happen to me at Withers. I would see shadow people living on Withers.
Withers was weird too because there was always at Withers there was always snakes in the yard, always.
Yeah.
There was always those little garter snakes everywhere. They would just be. You go out back and you could probably count about 10 of them. I just don't know. I guess there was a big nest back there or something. Or you'd always catch one in the front yard. I never.
You remember that time that
I kind of did get creeped out there a few times.
Withers?
Yeah.
I remember one time I seen a shadow person in my door, and I was waking up out of sleep, and I went into Mom's room to tell Mom that I'd seen a shadow person. And Mom said that she seen one standing behind me, and we both freaked out. And we beat you the fuck up that night because we wanted to wake you up.
I do remember that. Yeah. Your mom, like, she has great.
All right, cool.
She has. Is he leaving?
No, he's going to the
bathroom.
Going to the bathroom.
So nice guy Andy
Go down the
got
hallway past past these stairs. It's the one on the left there.
nice guy Andy got beat up while they were trying to wake him up.
There was, I mean, he ought to have his mom in here because she has some crazy stories. Like she can see stuff. Like you really have your mom on here telling some stories.
Yeah, we might get her on the next episode
because she would see shadow people all, especially over there. Like she would,
Withers. I seen like I've never seen a shadow person other than there, and I've seen them at least twice.
Wake up screaming and like.
Wendy said no, you were awake when they were beating you up.
You should tell that story like about the two. She tells a story about two kids like in the closet talking to each other, and then
was that on Withers?
Yeah,
because I remember her fucking. I remember the night that happened.
Yeah, she has a story where she can tell it way better than I can, but she woke up and she was like, I had a story. There was two, like beside her bed. They were sitting in the bed like Indian style across from each other talking.
Yeah,
and two kids, and then woke up the next morning and there was like we checked the news or something, and there was like the two kids that got killed at the Red River, like not really Red River Gorge, but closer to where we lived at, somewhere in Nicholasville. I think they I don't know how they got killed or whatever, but it was just odd that the next day and then like out at the farm, she would wake up in the morning and be like, she'd call her mom and be like, hey, I had a dream that there was two cows that died last night, and your dad. She was like, your mom was like, your dad was up there burying two cows a day this morning. Like, it's she would know, like, and her grandmother was clairvoyant too. So
yeah,
but she don't really do much of it anymore. Like, I think she's blocked it out of her mind. Like, she didn't have very good control of it when she was younger, I guess, but she's blocked it out of her mind a lot. I don't know.
she said they was brother and sister.
A car wreck. It was a brother and sister. A car wreck. But I mean, I've found arrowheads and stuff out there on the farm, out there on Tiggs Creek, just like digging in the dirt and shit.
Who knows? You know, who knows the
and then
history of
all the
stuff.
way. If you go in the back, there's a hot box out there. You know what the hot box is? You remember in Django when they introduced Django's wife. He's like, you need to go get Broomhilda out of the hot box. He's like, she wasn't supposed to be out of the hot box for another week. He's like, you better go get her. And they open up the big old steel tin.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there laying in a fucking tin box, and they throw water on her. You remember that part in Django?
Yeah.
There's a hot box out there on the farm. If you go all the way to the back, like there's like a creek, and then up on a hill, there's a hot box right there.
Huh.
That's right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Maybe give her a call. Maybe she'll talk to you on the.
I'd rather have her come in. Maybe next episode we'll invite my mom to come on.
I know that my house has a few weird things happen. Like,
I don't want to hear about your sex life, Johnny.
My little cousin.
Oh, your little cousin. That's
No, not that. My little cousin.
I thought that was Party Man.
No, Party Man is the one that fucks his cousins. Thank you very much.
Nah, my fucking
Mr. My little cousin had a weird experience with a closet. That I swear there's kids that live
experience
there.
with the closet. Also,
I did too with my cousin when I was a kid. Experiencing.
You did
Was he
what?
coming out of the closet?
my girlfriend said that like people in her family have fucked their cousins, married their cousins. I'm like,
No.
you're from Ohio. I'm from Kentucky. I was like, you should be saying I should be saying incest shit to you, but you're the one saying incest shit to me.
Crazy.
Unfortunately.
So, you said something, Johnny, about Well, keep with your story, and then I'll ask this question. My apologies.
My cousin, I swear there's something that's inside that closet because she was 9 and she was giggling at nothing. She kept on wanting to stay inside this basket that was inside the closet and was looking at it all the time. I'm trying to figure out what the hell are you looking at because there's nobody there. And she's giggling at this thing. We can't see it, but a kid and an animal, they can see what's there that we can't.
I have a weird story about my daughter. So about like a month ago, Taylor's grandpa died, and so they took Sissy and Taylor and her sister and her mom and dad went all up to her grandma's house in like Toledo, Ohio, and they've said,
"Hi, Mom."
And they've said this house is like haunted as fuck. They always hear shit. They always see shit. And Taylor goes upstairs, and like I guess they got a playroom for kids, and Sissy's up there talking to somebody. And they said, "Sissy, who are you talking to?" And she said, "The angels."
Huh.
And Sissy, I'm not a very Christian household. Sissy don't know what the fucking angel is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So like that was weird.
But she was speaking to someone that she could
speaking to
see.
somebody.
Oh yeah, kids like I feel like kids talk to a lot of people.
Like if your animal is acting up and you don't know what it's looking at and it's just barking at a corner, it's because it's probably seen something that's there that you can't.
So you said we're gonna go on investigations. Where are we gonna do?
Yeah, because Nick Himes, he told me why
I think we should go to the farm.
Why he wasn't talking to us and all that. It's because he wasn't feeling vibes with certain someone. But he wants to do investigations with us here soon, about June, maybe near October. He's got the equipment and everything. And I'm down to do that. I want to go to all these places here in Lexington that they say is haunted.
I think the first, fuck that. We should, if we're telling stories of places close to home, we wouldn't need no like yes or no answer. We could just go and do it. We should go to the farm and do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be cool. I'll go with you.
Yeah, out to the farm that I was raised on that farm. He's lived there. Like all my family members live there. Everybody I know at least has one weird story out there. You know what I mean? So like, I think that would be a really cool experience. I bet Bobby has some weird.
That was weird because I mean all the barns and stuff are gone now. There used to be 2 or 3 big barns out there.
Yeah.
And there was like, and then it was like a tobacco stripping building, and it was like made of blocks, and it was kind of creepy when you'd go up there and living there when those big barns and stuff were there and they were empty. It was kind of creepy, you know. It's like you have these big buildings up there that used to be lively and had things that lived in them and people that probably lived in them, and
Yeah.
now there's nothing, and it's kind of like falling apart, and it's like
kind of desolate.
yeah, you look at stuff and like I always like I've been delivering UPS a lot lately, and I'll be going down some roads, and I'll see or I'll visit somewhere that used to be like really, you know, you go to an older house and it used to be super nice, and now it's just ran down. It's like
Those walls could talk. Type
yeah,
deal.
this place was a very energetic place at one point, and now it's like a sad, depressed place.
And you can kind of feel both energies coming off
Yeah.
of it. You know what I mean? Whenever you see a house like that, you're like, I can feel the birthday parties. I can feel all the people that's lived in this house.
almost like you can get if you look at an old, dingy, dirty place, you can. Sometimes I can vision it as like a light.
Oh yeah,
beautiful,
definitely.
beautiful paint. Like you get that vision, like all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's a flash of
Like
you
a
get that-
flashback. Yeah, you go back in
Yeah,
time.
almost
and see
like
it.
you've been there before in deja vu, and it's like a flashback of this place is totally different. And like almost like the other day I was at a place, and I was almost like feel like I would seeing like kids running in the yard, and just like then it's like it's all gone, and it's like, oh, deliver the package, and then but it's like it's weird that like some places used to be
lively.
new and lively, and now they're
Yep.
old and depressed looking, and then but like you can look
And
at
do
them
you
and still see the energy of that
And
place.
do you think that holds?
It's almost like it still
Yeah.
it still exists at
do you
the same
think-
time.
Do you
I
think
don't know.
that holds a strain on a place? Like, do you think there's a do you think houses and places like that hold an energy where it's like it kind of like the place itself kind of reminisces back on an old day when this place was lively?
Yeah, almost like it's in some sense it still looks like that at the same time as looking like it looks now. Yeah, if it makes any sense, it's like
Yeah, it makes sense.
time is stand still, like almost like the house is like, look at what I used to be. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that whole, because I mean lately I've been to places and be like, and I'll see an old place and I'm like, bam, flashback, and it's like,
Yeah.
look at what I used to be, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, deliver the package, and then you're
Like I can almost see like the rope that's holding the tire swing on this tree. You can almost see it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it's like what I've did that so many times lately. It's like, I'm back, backing out, being out in the, I was working in the hub for the last 3 or 4 years, and just seeing that stuff, and then,
that place has energy all into
oh
its
yeah,
own.
like
I've heard like security. I've talked to security guards and shit, and they've been like, yeah, like on the weekends the security still has to work.
yeah,
We might not be there, but the security, and they have to go in almost like every couple hours to check the building. They'll be like, yeah, I've been in there 3 a.m. dark as fuck. The place is not, and you'll feel like you're hearing belts going, and you'll hear fucking radio static and shit like that. Like UPS has its own. People have died in there.
Oh yeah, there's like when they opened that new building, a dude died.
Yeah,
like
his name was Andy.
yeah, they could. I missed that day.
His name was Andy as well.
Yeah, I missed that day, and people called me, or people were calling, checking on me, like it was me that died or something. Like, I heard that. Oh, y'all good that you're not dead. I'm like, it wasn't me. It was another guy, different guy named Andy. Like, rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah, rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah, R.I.P. to the
There was also
not nice guy Andy.
yeah, not well. He's not nice anymore, but R.I.P. Andy. I heard that I've talked to people about that. They
He
said
was a maintenance guy.
They said he loved his job because I remember I walked up to somebody and we was talking about it. And I was like, "Could you imagine like at least for me,
He got killed by safety equipment.
yeah, I hate that fucking
That's
place.
the worst
Like that,
thing.
if I died in this place, like at least they'd be happy. I got the UFC fighters, Umaga's right there, Sting's right there. We got Sam Tripoli. We got like all this good energy in here. If I died in here, it'd be fine. You know what I mean? Like there's so much good energy on the walls that like this. Not that I want to die in here precisely, but like if I did, hypothetically, like this isn't a bad place to die. But you're at fucking UPS and you die. And I told that to somebody.
It's over safety equipment.
I told somebody that, and they was like, "Nah, bro, he loved his job. He actually loved coming. He loved the people here. He loved. Could you imagine dying at a place that like most people hate, but you love it?"
Yeah, it's odd that y'all guys mentioned that because one late night sort I was working on a lane throwing bags and just listening to music. And out of the corner of my eye, I see a maintenance man come up to one of the boxes in the middle of the lane splitter, right? And he just opens the box and starts like messing with shit. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, shouldn't the belt be stopped if he's working on that right now? And I just throw this bag and I look over to where he was just standing.
He's not there
and nobody's there anymore.
That's crazy. It probably could be that guy.
It probably was
What I
Andy.
understood was he was up in the ceiling somewhere, and
No, he got sucked into a belt.
he was strapped into one of those straps that's supposed to get you from not to fall, and he had to extend it, I guess, and it got into the belt, and I don't know. I just what I heard.
When I came to work that day, they were still cleaning it up. You didn't see any blood, but they were still cleaning it up.
Yeah, that was.
They ran that belt
They ran that belt
with his blood on that belt.
I'm,
Yeah.
They did not give no fucks. They was like, next sort, let's go.
yeah,
And then there was also a Hispanic guy was working like whenever they were doing construction on the new building, the old building and stuff. And you know how they got those like tile ceilings up at the top. Like you won't see them unless you're looking for them. You look up at UPS, you'll see like some windows up at the top.
yeah.
And this Hispanic guy was working on the building. He fell through. And they said he lived. I don't know precisely if he did, but they said they carried him out and he was fucking blue. But they said he lived.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you may have seen Andy that day.
I'd never met the guy, but we may have seen him at some point. Like that's even weird to think about too. It was like before he died. You know what I mean? Like you never know who you run into at that place. So like,
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people just by their face and not their names.
but UPS has an energy to it. I think, at least in my opinion. Like,
Oh, that building over there, yeah.
It has to.
Oh, that time skip day.
Oh, yeah, that's-
where time went backwards an hour was fucked.
Yeah.
Like we had 2 breaks.
yeah, and you never have 2 breaks at UPS. They would rather.
Oh, I had a day that we had break and I didn't remember it. Like
That means you had a occurrence where
wait.
you don't remember.
Explain it to us because we had a weird experience.
I
Like
had
that.
a day that like we were working and then like all of a sudden the sort went down and I was like like, John, did we have break? And he's like, yeah, we had break. Like, I said, did I take a break? I don't. He's like, I don't know if you took a break or not, but like, and then I was like, it was almost like I was there just 2 hours, and then like, almost like we were going home at break time instead of
having a break.
Instead of having a break, and like, yeah, I usually, because I mean, I worked right there in the front where the unload is, and then I would walk maybe 20 or 30 foot when I have a break over to where they park the UPS trucks, and there's no UPS trucks there, they're all out, and I just sit over there by myself, and I don't remember walking over there. I don't remember sitting down. I don't remember getting a drink or anything, and that's usually what I do. I go to the pop machine, get a drink, go over there and sit down for a few minutes, look at my phone, and then go back to work. And it's like,
that didn't happen.
Didn't happen that day, but everybody swore it did. I don't know.
Yeah, when we went out to the break area, me and Leon were on the same train of thought. I had already eaten my. I do the same thing every day. I save a sandwich for break time. I had eaten my break time sandwich, and I went outside with an empty bag, just staring at it. And I sat down next to Leon, and Leon was spiraling.
I'm like, I manifested a board. I'm putting fucking dots on it. I'm like, look at this. Like,
yeah. And Ashley sits across from him, and Ashley's like, "You're crazy, Leon. This is the first time we've been to break today." and Leon's like,
and your sandwich was gone, ate already.
Yeah, I'm looking at an empty sandwich bag, and Leon's like, "Please, God, Kenny, please tell me."
And I remember before that, on the first break that we had, at the end of the break, I looked at the person I sit with, and I'm like, hey, I didn't bum a cigarette off you today. Aren't you proud of me? Blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, I'm proud of you. You didn't bum a cigarette. 20, 30 minutes go by. We go back out there, and I'm like, let me bum a cigarette. And I look at everybody. I'm like, we've had break. And everybody's like, no, we are not had break. I'm like, dude, I just told you that you were proud of me for not bumming a cigarette off you. And they were like, that didn't happen. I was like, all right, whatever.
So you had physically know that you ate that did
no
ate
his
your,
no. I
he had
remember
an empty sandwich
I
bag.
remember him looking at his bag, his fucking gray Kroger bag, nothing in it, and he was just like this, just.
Yeah, or you already ate that. You'd already had it on the first break.
Yeah, I'm staring at it, and because I hadn't went out to the break table at the first break, and you remember I wasn't there when you.
And it was weird because usually you go out to break and everybody and their fucking mom is out there.
Yeah.
And the first time we went to break, nobody was out there. It was like 2 or 3 people. And the next time, the second break, everybody was out there.
Maybe you took an extra break that you didn't supposed to.
Because we all went down on the inside. I took break inside. Everyone was just chilling.
You ever went and used the bathroom and like sit in there and you like taking a dump or something,
and then break is called? Yeah,
and then you're like, yeah,
very graphic.
It's like, fuck, I'm taking a shit and break is called.
Yeah, you've already sit there long. You took an extra long break, and then you get out of there, and then it's like, oh, we just had break, and it's like you got a minute or two. You're like, fuck.
But
I should have saved my shit for like after break. I get an extra break.
But I'm sitting there explaining to people, I'm like, nah, we've had break, and everybody's like, Leon, you're crazy, you're losing it. And I look at Kenny, and we don't even exchange words. We just look at each other like this. We're like, and he's like, nah, Leon, we've had break. He's like, I'd be eating my sandwich right now if we didn't have
just
break.
Just that cold, dude. I looked over, I'm like, no, we definitely had break. I'd be eating my sandwich if we hadn't. And I looked over at Ashley, and I'm like, I just shook my head at her. I'm like,
life is weird, ain't it? Like,
what
makes think, like, did you actually have 2 breaks, or is it just something that you guys?
Me and Kenny still wonder if we'd still be there if me and him didn't come out to break. Like, how many times
we're locked in a cycle, time loop.
How many times did we have break and we don't remember it because me and Kenny finally met up? It was like this happened. You know what I mean? Maybe we
got
broke
yourself out of the loop.
Yeah.
So now a lot of times I'll go to the break area just to get out of UPS because I want to meet with Leon and make sure the end of the day is coming.
And to me,
that makes sense.
And to me, the weirdest part of that story is like over in my area, if it's slow, I got a rolly chair like this, and I'll just sit there on my phone, and like usually I will remember what the fuck I looked at on my phone. You know what I mean? Like you sit there, you watch videos, you do this and that, you listen to a podcast, music, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't recount for the 30 minutes that we lost of the first break to the second break of what I did on my phone. I just remember I sat in my chair and looked at my phone, and when break hit, it was like a missing time. Like time was missing.
Time is weird because like there'd be days when if I work in the hub, I work 4 or 5 hours, and then it seems like it takes forever.
And then you work a Sunday sort. You work a whole Sunday sort for like 2 hours.
I worked 12 hours the other day out driving, and it was like, oh man, it's like I'm still energetic. I'm still like it almost like it was like less than those 4 hours that you put in, and it just time is just weird. Like depending on what you're doing, and I guess if you're dreading something, it takes longer. It seems like the longer. If you're enjoying something, it's really fast. Like
That's right.
time, and as you get older, it seems like time just
Goes faster.
because like it was Thursday the other day. I felt like, oh shit, what happened to Tuesday and Wednesday? Like what
Right.
happened to those days? Like did I even? It's already Thursday, and I'm getting paid tomorrow, and it's like what the.
That's how I felt last Tuesday when I Connolly, for some reason,
You
thought
fucking
that.
deserved it, Johnny.
No,
you
I fucking did
deserved
not.
it.
What happened? I'm gonna have to have a talk with Icon.
He attacked me because for some reason he blames me for why he lost. He said that neither you or me was there, but you was there.
I was there. Yeah, I didn't,
Well, you were there after he lost.
yeah. After he lost, he
And now he's talking about
pretty
he'll
upset.
attack you.
He's pretty upset. I don't think he'll attack me, but I will have a talk with him.
I wouldn't put past him, Andy. He's pretty
I
livid.
would love to have some wrestlers come on a sip with the Supernatural. 'Cause,
Yes.
like all that time on the road, there has to be some wrestlers that's like you go to a gas station, some weird
Scott-
shit
like
happens.
Scott Diamond
yeah,
told us
Scott
that.
Diamond had a weird
Maybe
ghost.
we can have him back on the show, and he can talk about that.
That's right. Bring him
uh,
on to the Sip with Supernatural. Hey,
Larry D's wife, Paige, she's a female wrestler. She has some great stories.
yes, she does.
B Money and Donnie Green told a really good story of
Alexis Green probably could tell a good story.
Yeah. There's no telling how many wrestlers have dealt with the
because
Supernatural.
I mean
that they've
on the
not told
road
you
for
about.
that long, you stay in enough weird motels and just like
Stay in people's houses.
stay at people's houses on the
stay in their
road, the
basement,
fucking interstate. After a while,
sleeping in their cars. I'm sure.
After,
Yep.
after the interstate gets weird after a while. There's times where I'll drive on the interstate where I'm not fucking driving.
Yeah.
I'm driving,
Yeah.
but I'm not fucking driving. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know how long we've been on here?
Rest stops
Yo,
are weird too.
Talking about the highway. I was coming back.
I say we do another 30 minutes. I'm having a good time.
Yes.
Everybody else having a
Who
good
cares?
time?
Just keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going. Fuck it.
I was-
I ain't got no kids. Tell what you're saying.
I was coming back from Knoxville, and I'd been up for nearly 72 hours. Barely, maybe 3 hours of sleep in between these 72 hours, right? And I remember my eyes would keep starting to cross, and I would try and force them not to cross, but they'd slowly start to cross, and that yellow line would slowly become a double line. It would slowly turn into 2 lines, and I would keep forcing that double line to come back into focus because I'm losing consciousness. I'm starting to fall asleep. This double line would keep coming up, and eventually, I guess I couldn't keep hold anymore, and I don't remember being awake. I just remember the yellow line coming to a complete V shape, and I was just driving down the middle of the V because it looked like I was in a lane. Because when I saw the double vision, I just tried to drive down the double vision. Next thing I knew, what woke me out of this unconsciousness was flashing blue and red lights of a highway sheriff sitting on the side of the road. And when I came to, very quickly those 2 lines became one, and I realized I was driving directly on a yellow line, like splitting right on top of the lane and doing about 25 miles per hour on a interstate
crazy.
highway. He flashed his lights at me, and I was expecting to get pulled over, but no, I just jumped back into the correct lane, started getting my speed back up, and he never turned around and came after me. He just woke me up. But he was late.
I have some. This is something I sent to the podcast group chat with the Supernatural group chat.
Yeah.
And it's Lexington's favorite haunts. If y'all don't mind me reading off some of the stories.
Sure.
All right. This is Lexington Courthouse. The former Lexington Courthouse building at 215 West Main was completed in 1998 Well, not 1998, 1898, and became home to the Lexington History Museum in 2003. I know I've been at that Lexington History Museum. If you go on the top floor of that shit, it's weird. You ever been to the Lexington Museum?
Is that the old courthouse?
The old courthouse.
I've been underneath it. There's tunnels underneath the
Lexington,
courthouse.
yeah. Well, because
they're not very tall. They're probably about 5 foot tunnels.
this is somebody we may be related to. Museum manager Deborah Watkins says that she has had several ghostly encounters in the building. We know a Deborah Watkins?
I don't know. We need to find her though.
Yeah. Which is believed to be the site of a grisly hanging outside the second-story window in the 1880s. The existing structure is built on the foundations of the building where the hanging occurred. We had lights turn on and off, chairs move, and doors open and close, Watkins said. Watkins reports that she had one volunteer quit after feeling he had been grabbed while cleaning alone one night. Inevitably,
Pussy.
the volunteer had... the volunteer... Fucking bitch. What's his fucking name? Let's kick his fucking ass.
Yeah, we will.
Fucking pussy.
The volunteer had previously heard voices and footsteps in the building, but said he had just couldn't tolerate the sensation of being seized by ghostly hands. Watkins herself reports she didn't believe in the
Some
ghost.
people pay for that stuff.
Right. I mean,
That's right.
I'd fuck a ghost.
Yeah.
I would too.
Yeah.
She could give me a handy like how inside Ghostbusters. Then Awkward's character gets a blowjob from one.
But
Give me a Ghostbuster, all right.
all right,
Busted all over the place.
but Watkins herself
Geek, geek,
reports. Watkins herself reports she didn't believe in the ghost until late one night when she was carrying a prop from the Halloween exhibit at the museum. The prop just happened to be a fake noose, and as she was carrying the rope to put it away, something grabbed her around the neck and started squeezing. She says she paid no attention at first until she realized that there was no rational explanation for the sudden feeling of strangulation. I ran screaming from the building. Whatever it was, not let it go until I hit the middle of Short Street. Interesting to know our basement extends into roughly the middle of Short.
She sure that she didn't get choked out by a Halloween prop?
Watkins says the official position of the History Museum is that the building, which is currently shuttered as a result of lead-based paint, is not haunted. For her own part, she is not afraid of the place and is eager to return to the building. That's the Lexington Courthouse. We need to find this Deborah Watkins person, yeah.
Yeah. We need to
She's
find
y'all's relation, probably.
She probably is. I mean,
Oh, definitely probably get to us somehow.
Y'all ever had any experiences with sleep paralysis?
one time.
Oh, damn.
One time, it was right after my friend Amelia had passed, and I was sick, and I was downstairs in the basement of his house, and I'd either got picked up from school or I didn't go to school or something, but I got in bed, and I just felt a tightening on my fucking chest while I'm in bed, and I'm like I got the blankets all over me. I don't know if it was more sleep paralysis, but it's kind of in the same vein. But I had like two blankets, and I kind of tucked myself in to be as comfy as a bug in a rug. You know what I mean? You want to get comfy when you're sick. And I feel this like energy on my chest, and I'm like, I'm not that sick, but like I feel this energy, so I'm trying to move and shit, and I can't move. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll let the wind take me, and I just fall asleep. That was the only weird experience close to sleep paralysis I've ever had, to where like I couldn't get up.
I've had two polar opposite experiences with sleep paralysis. And one while I was about 12, and then another when I was around, let's say, maybe 19. So, first one, it was a nice, calm night. And I woke up in the middle of the night. My eyes just flash open. And I feel a presence in the room, but I can't move. Like, I want to move, but I can't. So I start to look around the room, because the only thing I can do is move my eyes. That's when I see in the far corner of the room what appears to be what they will call the gray. And when they describe these extraterrestrials, they're gray-skinned, and they have these big black bulbous eyes. And small features, small face. It appeared to be like a gray, almost humanoid, black-eyed creature standing in the corner of my room watching me sleep. Now, I had no belief, like, really, in aliens. I was like 12 years old, so I was like, whatever, maybe, maybe not, right? when I seen that creature in the corner, immediately it spiked my heart rate up. I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I can't move, and now something is watching me sleep.
Yep.
But it was as if it telepathically communicated to me and told me, it's all right. I'm not going to harm you. And immediately I got this calming sensation that just slowed my heart rate and told me everything was going to be okay. And although I was not very tired, I just decided to close my eyes and try and go back to sleep. And I did. Went
At least it
back to
didn't
sleep.
probe you.
Right. But it was weird.
Like that.
Darn.
It was weird because
Damn it!
Yeah.
Rats!
It was weird because when I seen it, like, all my muscles felt like they were locking up tense, like I was trying
That's
to move.
what I
but
felt
couldn't.
that same.
I don't remember the story or anything why it happened, but I feel like I've had that like several times in my life, and I mean, as a kid, I don't think I've had it as an adult, but I had that sleep paralysis when I was a kid. Maybe because of a dream set it off, or something I thought was watching me in my bed, or it's usually like something that was watching me in my bed. I feel like, but I know that feeling, that paralysis. When somebody says sleep paralysis, I know that feeling. Do y'all know what that feeling is?
To me, I just feel like it's like
we've all had it.
it's like somebody put an anvil on your chest, and like you want to move but you can't. Kind of. I've never really had sleep paralysis, but I've had like maybe pre-sleep paralysis where like I'm trying to get out of bed but I can't. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like me too. It's like if I feel like that, just like I'm laying there and my arms and my legs don't work, and you can't do anything, and it's like I just feel like that I've definitely had that feeling. I definitely, like, that's definitely a memory, but like why I had it, I don't remember why I had it, or I don't remember any kind of story why I had it. Or
Now, if Mr. Gray is out there listening, I have to applaud you. That was good work, keeping me nice and calm. I appreciate that, because the next experience I had was not nice. It was whatever this being was that decided to give me sleep paralysis. They call them sleep paralysis demons, per se. That first sleep paralysis didn't seem like a demon.
You ever took fucking Benadryl?
Have.
Benadryl, I feel like I've done acid that wasn't as good as a fucking Benadryl. I'm just saying. I've done mushrooms and acid that wasn't as good as a fucking Benadryl.
especially if you're sick.
Benadryl is like fucking sleep paralysis demons while you're kind of awake.
Well, no, I wasn't.
Yeah.
For both
Fuck
of these,
Benadryl.
for both of these experiences, I wasn't under the influence of any medications or alcohol. But for the second experience, it was much darker, and I was a lot older at this point, and I remember waking up to the sound of boots entering my room, because like you, Leon, I sleep very light. All it takes is somebody to open my door and I'm awake. I heard my door open, and I heard the unmistakable sound of boots on the ground walking towards me. You know how those boots hit the ground?
Yeah.
And I look up, and I see this black figure, absolutely pure shadow. Like there was no feet.
The shadow men scare me more than fucking anything. Like I think if I seen like a bitch in period garb, I'd be like, bitch, get the fuck out of my house. You know what I mean? Like, bitch, get the like who,
dress up.
you know what I mean? I see some bitch in like Victorian clothes. I'm like, bitch, this is the 21st century.
Let
Get the
that
fuck
dress
out.
up.
Like an actual ghost,
Yeah.
you would probably. Yeah, me too. I feel like that too. But it's like the black blob shadow people.
Yeah.
It's like that's the scariest ones. I
Yeah,
think.
bring back Mr. Gray. Mr.
That
Gray,
they
Bulba
got a
Size,
face.
you were cool. G
Yeah.
Money, come on back home. We'll sit down and talk.
Those
Bring him on the
shadow people
podcast.
Bring
Gray didn't want
Mr.
to.
Blair. Let's get the alien on the podcast, please. Let's get him in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
He could stand right there on
So it's
camera.
a shadow person.
the shadow person stood over me, and immediately my body locked up tense, and I wanted to swing. Like I just felt my hands just try and come up for a hook, and I couldn't move. I couldn't move my hands. I was pinned down. That's when
It's like an anvil's on your
Yeah.
chest, like what I explained earlier.
Yeah, that's when this fucking creature took its hands, put it around my throat, and just started closing down, clamping on my throat. And I tried to grab at his hands, and I wanted to swing at his face, but like I just couldn't move. And he sat there and choked me back unconscious. I don't know if you've ever
Mr. Gray, he was not.
I don't know if you've ever lost consciousness from not being able to breathe. It's a very specific feeling of just that complete panic when you can't take a breath in.
You had a weird story. Remember when you crashed your truck, and you said that you felt like you woke up and like you felt like you may have died, but you didn't die.
I'm not sure that I didn't. I don't know. It's like my Subaru when I cracked my.
Yeah, I think it was your truck, but
I was just I don't know. I make a wrong turn, and then I was trying to turn around at close to the Constitution Park, and I turned into a lane, and another car was coming and hit me like in the side, T-boned me and flipped me over. And luckily I had my seatbelt on, but I was hanging like everything went black for a long time, and then I was like, all of a sudden I was hanging upside down in my car. It was like, and then like I didn't know what to do. It was like, so I reached over and got my undid my seatbelt, and then like, you know, you're hanging upside down, you fall down, and then you're like, then you're like in this ball, and you're like trying to get out. You're trying to figure out how to get out the door, and and glasses everywhere, and it's like you just, and then I don't know, just like felt like my whole. After that point, everything had been going really great for me in my life, and seemed like my money was good and everything was good, and then like after that point, it just seemed like everything was like different afterwards, like almost like I went home to a different wife or in a different life, and things were just, I can't remember what all things were changed, but it seems like things were changed. Like it was almost like, and I remember talking to Dave, my Tai Chi teacher, and I was like, you know, did I die that day? You know, or like, I always feel like that maybe life brings you down a road and something happens and you die, but you don't die. You just keep
going.
You just, that story died, and you just, from that point on, you go into a different
parallel universe.
Parallel, like there's multiverses, like almost like if I died at that point, I didn't know I died, but I just kept on in the same. I went to a different timeline.
That's how some people explain deja vu, is that you've experienced this in multiple timelines, and it's an event that you clearly remember.
Almost like that person, that character died in that story, but like the story keeps going on as if you didn't die. Yeah, and it's almost like you just keep on going, and then there's been certain points in my life where I think maybe I died, and because this story seems so, my life seems so different now. Like, you know, it's like a lot of people changed in my life, and my job changed, and almost like when COVID hit, you know. Yep. I was having a great time when COVID hit. Like, the economy was really good. Everybody was making money. I was bartending in a great restaurant on the weekends, Saturday and Friday and Saturday night, and I had my own personal little like a Uber kind of delivery service where you'd call me and I'd go pick up your couch. I had a couple vans and I'd go pick up your couch. I was making money. I was making $4,000 or $5,000 a month just on that, and then I was making
tip money from bartending.
Bartending tip money is about, you know, $600-$700 a weekend on that, just 2 days, and then I was like working at UPS still and just doing part time, and I was just like killing the game, you know. And then all of a sudden, one day, go into work, and it's like, it's done.
Right.
Like, we're not coming back to work here. Like, we're closing the shop because of COVID. Like, we'll call you in a couple weeks, and it never
happened.
Never went back to that job. Never. Like, I was delivering furniture, and it stopped.
You know what's...
and then we started, like, Leon moved out of the basement, and I had an empty basement, and it's like, is it around the same time? No, it wasn't. I wrecked my car a little bit earlier than that, but it's like something happened and everything changed. Leon moved out of the basement. I had an empty basement.
Had a kid.
Had a
grandkid.
Had a kid after that, and it's like.
Have y'all ever had this happen?
That's what happened. That's why this place exists.
Shout out the podcast. Have y'all ever had this happen where you're listening to something on like a podcast or a video or music, and you're like, I've never watched this before. This episode that came out 15 minutes ago, and I'm watching this, but I've heard this all before. Has that ever happened to anybody? Like, I've listened to a couple Joe Rogan interviews where I'm like this interview came out 15 minutes ago, but I listened to it like a month ago.
I've definitely done that. I can't.
And then weirder things is like when you're listening to a video and you're like he's about to say because right here, and he says because.
Yes.
Yeah, life has weird anomalies, but I think
It does.
I think that's what makes life, and the fact that we're all so interested. We've did podcasts and shit, but I think this is one of the more interesting discussions I think that we've had today. We had the Jeff guy in here, and we've all been telling stories and just intakes on life, and like life can be weird, life can be beautiful, life can be all these things, but like I think the weirdness kind of adds to the beautifulness. Like if it was all just peaches and roses, like I want a little ghost here and there. You know what I mean? If I'm you, I want a dude in my backyard that just disappears.
There is that theory about like the perfect dystopian reality can't exist because for some reason it would all come crashing down. Like there's some type of deal where the peace just can't be held, it can't be had.
You think that maybe when you had that guy beating on your back door, you were sitting there playing and maybe you fell asleep just for a second or two and woke up?
I can't fall asleep in my chair. I have to get in my bed and fall asleep.
Maybe woke up, or maybe something happened that you woke up in a different timeline, and then like
That's good rationality.
and then went to the door, and then like all of a sudden the simulation or the timeline like remembered that you wasn't supposed to be there, and then it popped you back, and that way when you looked outside, it wasn't there.
Possibly.
I used to have a real weird theory on life itself, but I used to do a lot of acid and shit, so like my mind kind of got fucking wrecked for a hot minute. But
I don't believe as much that was any type of actual person. That was some type of supernatural event. Like and when you
how old is that house you live in? Maybe it was an event at
built
some
in the
point.
80s.
Maybe it was an event at
Said
some
the
point.
80s.
Something maybe happened that was traumatic to the person. Maybe that was a ghost, and something happened traumatically at that point. Maybe they were beating on the back door because something was going on inside, and they needed to get in there. And then, like when you opened the door, it was like reset it, or something.
I don't
Could
know.
have happened.
As far as I know, nothing has ever happened to that house. No people have died. No traumatic events.
Have you known the people that owned the house?
Yeah, my grandpa owns it. He bought it back in the 80s, like 85.
That's great. It's just who knows? Like who knows what? I mean, who knows what ghosts and stuff are? Are they
That's
like?
right.
Are they real ghosts? Are they trapped in a loop? Are they trapped in a
Could it
like?
be alternate universe?
Is it a soul that's trapped like here, and it has to do this certain thing over and over again to try to fix it the same way, and it never does fix?
or is it like time lapsing in on itself, and that person is seeing you?
Yeah.
That could be
Maybe that was
possible as well.
maybe that was your grandpa, and he was like, "What's this fucking dude with long hair doing in my fucking?" And they're like,
And then he
maybe he has a story somewhere.
I heard a weird story on one of these little like ghost podcasts that I listened to. The dude was like, when I was a kid, I was walking around this forest, and he's like, I'm just playing in sticks and dirt and shit. And he said, I seen this guy. Well, no, he said I heard barking of a dog, and the dog came out, and it was a golden retriever dog. And then like 5 seconds later, a man came out, and he looked at the kid, and the kid looked back at him, and he said, he's like, what the fuck is this? And the guy was like, hey, chill out, don't run. And the kid started running, and then 20 years go by, and the guy, his girlfriend has a golden retriever dog, and he goes to walk the dog, and he comes out of this forest,
Sees himself.
and he sees a kid, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? Don't run away from me. And he said that the kid kind of looked like him at back when he was a child.
That's
saw
crazy.
himself.
That's crazy. That it loops, like you almost loop back in on yourself, like you see yourself, your old. Yeah, like time.
Yeah.
They say time is weird.
I think
like,
time
you
is
know?
stagnant. I don't think time is like an ever. I think all time is happening at once. You know what I mean?
I do too.
There was a theory about all that. Everything that happens at the same time. Like, is it a simulation? Are we in a computer program somewhere?
Are we in the Matrix?
That's what I'm thinking.
I hate watching my girlfriend play The Sims because that's all I can ever think when she's playing The Sims.
Somebody.
You're right. The
playing us
Sims,
like that.
Yeah.
I feel like The Sims is just something to mock us because we're playing the simulation and we're in the simulation ourselves.
Somebody said September 10th, 2008 is when all the timelines messed up. I don't know that significant.
What is
Oh, that's the
King
CERN.
Dogbot.
Are they talking? I think
The first beam was successfully steered. The
CERN.
27 kilometer ring of the LCH. I work LCH, sir, and that didn't happen. No, I'm playing.
I think they're referencing the CERN
The tunnels and shit.
the Hadron Super Collider.
Collider.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that was built in 2008.
They want to build a bigger one now.
Oh, great, perfect.
twice the size of that one.
You thought that hour was bad. Wait till they build it twice the size. It'll be a 2-hour break. We're gonna come back.
2-hour
on it.
break.
Yep,
Thanks.
because scientists are crazy.
Yeah, I got 2 cigarettes that day, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because they
got to
really
break 2
don't know.
peanut butter and jellies that day.
They really don't know what they're messing with by doing this. Like they're getting some information, but they
July
have no.
5th, 2022, the LHC detectors started recording high energy collisions at an unprecedented energy of 13.6 trillion electrovolts TV.
Well, fuck all that. Let's get into the nitty gritty. If we were the Ghostbusters, who would be who? I think you're Vinkman.
Which one's that?
Vickman's the
You're
skip.
Bill Murray.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I think Johnny over here would definitely be Egon.
Yeah.
So it's either a knock up between is Kenny the black guy or am I the black guy and who's Ray? Who's Dan Aykroyd?
well,
I think Johnny would be Dan Aykroyd, wouldn't he?
yeah, because
No, he's got glasses. He's Egon.
I may have glasses, but I ain't as smart.
and you
as
set up the
Egon.
phone
I got
call. You're
glasses.
Egon.
Maybe I'm Egon. Because I set up the podcast, so I don't know. Maybe I'm Egon.
It would be like I know that this will be a long shot, but it would be so cool to have Dan Aykroyd to come in and talk about ghosts.
Yes.
Right,
Also, his
because
alias.
because Dan Aykroyd's a big like he said the Ghostbusters movie is written about his family.
If we could get,
Did you know that, Kenny? The Ghostbusters movie is he originally wrote the Ghostbusters. Dan Aykroyd wrote the Ghostbusters about his upbringing with his I think his mother and father were like would
that the
exorcise demons.
Is that the
That's
new one?
why
the new
Ray
newest,
gets his dick sucked.
is that the newest?
Ghostbusters?
I've never seen the new. There's 2 new movies.
No.
I've
I've
never
seen it,
seen those
but they
No,
don't
I'm talking
stack
about the
up to-
original Ghostbusters. Like whenever he was writing the scripts, the original concept for the Ghostbusters was about his upbringing with his. I think his mother and father were like they were
Did
exorcists.
Dan Aykroyd write the?
Yeah, he wrote the Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Him, and I think he wrote the he
Him
wrote
and
the
Egon. The Egon guy.
he
was-
wrote the original script, and then it changed into what the Ghostbusters became.
Oh, okay.
But
Because
the original script was about like his family being exorcists.
I've
and
been
stuff.
in
apparently the
Egon's
newest
actor.
one was about a family, wasn't it?
Yeah, that
It
was, the
but I don't like
the first steps or something. It was
I never
called.
seen that one.
Yeah,
I
haven't
don't
seen
like
it
I
either.
don't like the new ones
Wait,
because you know they got the old.
The one with
Actors.
the one with the women in it is my favorite.
You just say that
No,
because-
I did
because you
not
wanna
hate that
bang.
movie. Everybody and their mom told me it
That
was the
movie
worst
sucked.
fucking movie ever, and I watched it. I watched it after the fact, didn't see it in theaters, seen it on TV, and I was like, y'all motherfuckers gave this too much hate. I like this movie. It was not that bad. Like, at least that's what I thought. But I'm going to try to look up the Ghostbusters original script and see if I can find, like, a synopsis about it. I think
Dan was the man because he got his dick sucked by a ghost.
Harold Ramis.
I love Harold Ramis. He's a great actor.
it says the Ghostbusters Ultimate Visuals History talks about the original script a bit. It goes into the production of both
That's a
movies
big
and other
freaky.
content as well. As far as drafts of the original script out there, I'm not so sure. Wait, yeah, that's not good. But I'm from what I've heard, I've always it may have either been Dan Aykroyd talking about it or like a wise tale. It's like the original Ghostbusters was about Dan Aykroyd's family being like exorcists and stuff.
Did it still have him getting a blowjob from a ghost?
Okay, it says the Ghostbusters was inspired by Dan Aykroyd's fixation with the breathe, with the belief in paranormal, which he inherited from his father, who later wrote the book of history of the ghosts. His mother, who claimed to have seen ghosts. His grandfather, who experimented with radios to contact the dead. And his grandfather, this is Wikipedia.
You know he fucked a ghost? Dan Aykroyd of the Ghostbusters fucked a ghost.
That's why he also
that.
had that inside that scene.
Yeah, we heard that. What happened?
It's all strange. But I think this is...
Leon, I think that you are Winston.
I'm Winston. Well, I'll smoke a Winston, so I guess that makes me Winston.
You're going to have to tell Andy. That's one big Twinkie.
I ain't scared of no joke. I ain't scared of no ghost.
What was there was Egon, Peter.
Yep. There's Ray.
Peter, Ray, and Winston, right?
Yep.
And then there was the other guy.
And there's Jane.
Then
it was
the little
it was Venkman, which was Bill Murray. Then they had Ray, which was
Dan Aykroyd.
Ray Stantz, which was Dan Aykroyd, and then you had Egon, which was I forget his name.
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis, yeah.
Which has passed away.
And then you had Winston, which was
Zeddemore.
Yeah, and then you had the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes,
Rick Moranis.
Rick
Yep,
Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
That was a great show. That was a great movie.
One of the first, like, that was, I think Ghostbusters was probably the first, like, it's not a horror movie, but it's like the first kind of turn on into ghosts and stuff. For me, like, I'd seen Casper and stuff, but like Ghostbusters was kind of like that first push into like the dark where you like. I remember I was scared of watching the Ghostbusters at one point in time. Like, I watched it really young, but like, it's a great movie.
I love Venkman's character because you need that one guy that's gonna be a skeptic, and he spends the most of the movie every time they act like something's a ghost. He spends most of it trying to debunk it, but then when Slimer slimes him, he's like, "I got slimed."
I think
fucking ghost.
I think Ghostbusters. If you're talking about like movies like that, like it's got to be up there with like The Shining.
It
like
does.
the concepts that Ghostbusters has. You know what I mean? Like it's up there with like some of the great. I wouldn't classify. Would you all classify Ghostbusters as like a horror movie? It's more of like a comedy, but like it has those elements of.
It's more like a comedy ghost story movie, I guess.
A comedy black horror because
because
it had
was the first Ghostbusters the guy that was in the painting, or was that the second?
That's
one?
the second one.
The second.
it had legit. The second one had a legit evil guy.
Yep,
like Vigon was a scary motherfucker.
Vigo the car.
Who was the bad guy in the first one?
The first one was Zool.
It was like Zool, bro. There is no Leon. There is only Zool.
Yeah,
my favorite thing
Zool
about
was a
the first
legit
movie is that
evil guy too, I guess, right?
I think that was an actual demon too.
Yeah, legit demon.
Yeah,
Vigo the Carparian.
Is anybody else like? We've all watched like the Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and when they talk about like demons on the show, like I kind of want to turn it off. Like, is this thing gonna come through my fucking TV?
Oh yeah, they say if you say a
though.
demon's name, that like they can come to you and talk.
Yeah,
to you.
do
Like,
not say their name because
come.
they will latch on to you.
like what Solomon and was it Solomon?
King Solomon.
King Solomon like built. Didn't he build like he had demons build one of the temples?
Yep.
On maybe the temple on Temple Mount. Maybe I don't.
Have you heard of the board game a Rap Rat?
No, I haven't. You told me to. I watched a video but I've never played it.
If anything is haunted, that game is being haunted, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I got a version of that Rap Rat game, and I put it in my VHS. I was maybe 6 years old at this point. My mom put it in my VHS and was getting it set up, and she was like, "You can just play this for a minute, honey. I'm going to make some tater tots or whatever she's going to warm up for me, right?" She leaves the room. I start playing this game, and it doesn't take 5 minutes alone with this rat, this fucking crazy demonic rat, before I'm screaming for my mother, "Please help me, come here, turn it off. I made her take it out of the house. I was like, "You take that VHS and that evil rat, you take that rat out of this house." Let me see. I'll find it real quick for you.
Yeah.
You want me to read another Lexington ghost story?
Yes.
Read that. It says,
Please do.
While
All right.
while the biblical.
While the Bible doesn't explicitly state that King Solomon used demons to build the temple, some legends and interpretations suggest that he did, possibly through a magic ring or by enslaving a demon prince. Imagine being so fucking dope that you would slave a demon.
Yeah.
You're like,
chopped
hey,
off a
you're like,
demon's head.
you're like, motherfucker, you might be cool under there, but I'm cool up here. So,
Yeah, I'm
like,
the
you gonna
fucking
build this
king.
temple or what? Yeah, I'm not gonna say that demon's name, but they said in some interpretations he enslaved a demon. Could you imagine being that fucking based? Like, you're basically
Man, that guy would be hardcore to the max.
The Bible describes King Solomon's construction of the temple in Jerusalem focused on his wisdom and resources and skilled workforce.
You want to hear about this rap rat?
Yes.
we hold no copyright to this, by the way.
Yep.
Even that rap rat sounds fucking creepy.
Yep.
So get mellow, get yellow, get the video board game Rap Rat. He ain't no ghost, he's the most. The video board game Rap Rat.
Yeah, that
It's
sounds.
over. It's all downhill from here. So, we've got a lot to unpack and a lot of questions to answer. First question, what am I looking at here? This is the video board game Rap Rat, the 1992 game that sees you try to collect the pieces for and assemble your cheese jigsaw puzzle before you run
Who
out of
the
time.
fuck made
The
that
game
in
itself is
1992?
extremely simple. Just roll the die, and if you roll the right color, you collect one of your pieces to add to your puzzle. That's it. If that was the whole game, we'd be done. We'd be fine. But the game comes with a VHS tape. And on that tape is the real meat of the game, as that is where the creature lives. The Rap Rat.
I'm the rat with Raz and all that pizzazz. I'm plastic
Raz.
and fantastic. I'm your very
He's
own
gonna whiz and roll it.
Rap rat. Yeah.
This cryptid is the host of the show and our game master, determining the flow of the game and acting as the timer. See, Rap Rat here lives in a wall of cheese, and if you are unable to finish your puzzle by the
He's gonna
time
cut
he
that
eats
cheese.
all the
Rick Ross
cheese
gonna
on
get his
screen,
ass.
you lose the game. That is, if you ever get to the actual game, because after a minute-long intro of whatever this is,
There are gnomes in your garden, and they play slides on pink electric guitars. Ha! And cats can talk. They just don't want to.
Rap Rat comes
Yeah,
onto the
that
screen
was
and just
fucking
spouts
creepy.
nonsense for nearly 4 straight minutes.
We own no copyright to
Now
this.
I could be wrong, but I don't think I heard your song. So let's do it once more.
I think the copyrights
And I'll give
fully
you a
ran out on
score.
this.
Everybody smile, please, and say cheese. Oh yeah! Right.
Demonic.
Right.
After our gracious host has
Right.
finished introduction.
Pause it. for a
Sound
second,
like
Jimmy.
you saying die,
If y'all
die,
like,
die.
I've always like playing video games, and I always had like a weird glitch in a video game where like the characters like do something fucking weird, like it stays on the character's face for too long. That shit creeps me out more than any fucking ghost story. Like you're playing a game and the dude's fucking face just sits there and it goes, brrrr. It's just this dude. He's like, brrrr. And like you got to turn your system off
Yeah.
and restart it. And you're like, I'm not fucking playing that shit anymore.
What about
back in the 80s? We had Max Headroom, and that fucking
Yes, that guy was creepy.
that dude creeped me the fuck out. And they were actually had somebody that had that actually did that
Yeah, there's a lot of
character
Max
that
Headrooms.
actually took over a radio station or a TV station and came on there for like
Yes, a
15
hack,
minutes.
So,
a hacker.
so they was doing a little bit of background, and he explains it better. But a rap rat is a very close synonym for the name of a demon.
Oh, really?
That like you said earlier, you don't want to say the name of the demon, but supposedly by playing this video, you're calling this demon.
Oh,
And
wow.
even as a kid, I felt this dark energy. I felt so very uncomfortable. As soon as that thing came out and started going, a rap rat, a rat, a rat, a rat, a rat, a rap rat, I was like, get that fuck Get that out of here.
Maybe that's what's beating on your back door all the fucking time.
The rap rat with cheese. He's over here singing. He's over
coming for that cheese.
He's rapping Biggie, and he got a big old cheese wheel.
Yeah, I'll make him Swiss cheese. Well, I'll do that fucking rat.
I ran into a weird glitch.
What? Let me hear a weird. What?
Like here comes the pain. Right? There's no way because I did not create a character that was exactly like my character. I was the champion going into this playthrough. Every time I start a new playthrough, somehow, some way, there's another version of my character that shows up and challenges me for my title. I did not create this guy. I did not make him like my guy. I did not even give him my name. But the character has my name, looks exactly like my character with slight differences.
Entrance.
Yeah, and it just keeps on happening. It's like the game created a second version of myself to try and fight me because I've whooped every other character's ass to that point. I have no idea how this character is because it's not inside my save
Crazy
file.
how toys and video games will do that also. Like,
You ever been in your kid's room or something and you hear like a toy just starts up? Hi, I'm fucking Jackass the fucking rabbit.
Yeah.
I'm Jackass the fucking rabbit.
Hi, I'm Jackass the fucking rabbit, and I want to play with you.
You talk about that. My little sister used to have these toys just outside of my room in a open play area, right? And in the middle of the night, these toys, just every now and then, I would hear one of these toys just start talking in the middle of the night, and it would wake me out of a sleep, and I'm like, what the who is out here playing with
I wonder what that is. Is that like a ghost or a demon or just some kind of energy wave goes through your house and turns things on?
I know. When my cousin Joe died, we were sitting outside. It was like probably a day after he died. We was all drinking and having like party time for a deceased person. You know what I mean? Stuff that you do when people die. And we're like, yeah, if Joe's here, make it be known. And at the time, Grayson had this little, like, it was like this cop car, little rolly thing. He gets on it and he rolls around, and it made like, and it would like light up red and blue, look like a cop car. And we was like, if Joe's here, make it be known. And of course, we were lights on the cop car, and we were all like, time to go inside.
No. He was letting you know that he's
and
there.
that's a house that was his grandpa's house. My Uncle Joey lived there for a while. So, I mean, like, it's a place that he would frequent at some point in time in his life. So, like,
yeah,
it makes sense.
He lived there as a kid.
Yeah, so, like, yeah.
Yeah, he lived a lot. There's a lot of time he was there as a kid.
That reminds me, when I was a young teenager and I would go walking around, sneaking around the town at night, just exploring, doing ghost hunting. Well, there's a couple of parks that I would go to, and I would just sit on the swings, right?
Yeah.
And all the swings would just...
One night, I went and sat on the swings, and I just got my phone out, and I was looking at my phone, and that's when I heard the unmistakable sound of creaking, a creaking swing, just swing, swing, swing. No, not. It was definitely there. And that's when I took the light away from my face, and I looked to my side, and only the swing. If all the swings were doing it, I'd be like, it's windy, whatever. It wouldn't bother me if all the swings were doing it. No,
right.
Just the swing sitting next to me, it didn't just go, no, it got faster and faster. Bro, it got faster and faster until it was doing like full sets next to me. And I'm like,
you seen some shit.
I'm like,
who smoked DMT while you were in the womb?
Kenny has seen some shit.
Yes, he has.
I ain't never seen this.
Especially that one that he was sawing while he's pissing, and he looks up and there's this giant thing that's just staring down back at him.
Rap rat.
Rap rat. Rap rat.
You shouldn't have been playing that video because now you got cheese falling.
Kentucky has its own Kentucky has a lot of weird things. You know what I mean? Like you drive down a road and they're like, "Oh, the goat man lives down this road."
Yeah, there is a goat man.
So who the fuck do you mean the goat man lives down? You don't want to say the goat man. He lives down this road. It's like, dude,
we really need to check out some more, like find
cryptids
some more.
and stuff.
Because like there's the Hopkinsville trolls.
Well, you were telling
hear about that.
You
Like,
were eventually.
I've heard
you
about
told
that.
me about. There's a bridge where you can go and you can turn all your lights on. I mean, you can turn your car off and you can sit in the dark and your lights will turn on your car and your car will go down the fucking slope. I think it was either in a book or you had actually been there yourself. I forget where it was. It was like a hill.
I think that was. I think that's a story from Nick. Nick, they went to a. Didn't they go to a bridge like that?
Yep, they did.
I think Nick told that story.
That's odd because I heard a story from a cousin of mine that there's a bridge out here in the backwoods of Kentucky that they would drive their car to this bridge, they would turn their car off and turn their lights off, and they would. It wouldn't take not even a couple of minutes after you turned your lights off. You would see people start to walk from the opposite side of the bridge all the way towards your car, and every time they would get all the way to the car and they couldn't handle it. They would turn the car on and drive off real quick, but it looked like the people were going to come right up and just
also
try and open their car.
Seaguy Bridge. I don't know where that is.
There's one in Lexington called Eyeball Bridge.
Yeah, Eyeball Bridge.
And,
I always heard it was called Seeing Eye Bridge.
And then there was a Satan
Church. Mom told me about that.
there.
Yeah, it's.
But I think somebody lives in that house now. I think they turned it into a house and they live there. Actually, I think. But yeah, we need to look into more of the
cryptids and
the ghost stories of Lexington and maybe even Kentucky and following counties around here. Because, I mean, we had the ghost guy that. Remember the ghost guy we had on that does the ghost thing in Lawrenceburg?
Yep.
Jeff.
Waldron.
It's always Jeff.
Waldron, Jeff.
It's always Jeff. Always a guy named Jeff.
We can have him back on because he does a ghost walk somewhere like in
We also got a dog man here in Kentucky.
And Cynthiana is like,
Dog man.
the Cynthiana has a bunch of like
All throughout Loudon, like you hear a ghost story, it's all throughout Loudon and Castlewood.
Oh, Castlewood's supposed to be haunted. The
I don't. Sometimes, like I live over in Castlewood.
Park.
If it's dark and late enough, I won't drive past the fucking old castle. Like, I
Really?
won't drive past it.
Really?
I'll go a different way. I'll go hit Loudon or something.
I've been in that park like deep into the nights, and it's just a creepy place, man. It really is.
I think Castlewood as a whole has a creepy vibe to it.
Yeah, the whole area over
Yeah,
there.
like if you drive late at night,
I know the park is definitely creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
definitely.
spent a lot of time in that park when I was.
I think that you could be friend of ghost.
Well,
I
even
could be friend of girl.
even Eastland, Eastland has a creepy vibe at a certain night.
Oh,
like-
where I live at.
Yeah, like I remember one time me and my friend were doing acid, and we're not peaking at this point. We're coming down from the acid high,
Not tweaking at all.
We're not tweaking at all. And we walk up to your side door at your house, and we're about to come inside, and we hear, and whenever you hear a fucking like a log, like a fucking snapping of a tree, right?
Yeah.
It's usually very close to you, and we heard it probably like 30 feet away from us. We heard a tree snap and a fucking bunch of birds come out of the tree, and we're like, what the fuck was that? We didn't investigate it any further, but we was like, I don't even want to look over in that area anymore. Like, something's over there. Like, we heard that from that far away, we heard a fucking tree snap. It didn't sound more like a tree snap. It sounded like somebody's bone fucking broke.
Oh, man.
That's what it sounded like. And we just see birds fly away from that area, and we're just like, but I've walked around, what's the middle school over? Crawford. And it's an old middle school.
Oh, Cropper, I've been there.
Yeah, my papaw went to middle school there, and we've walked around that area at night, and you feel like all eyes are on you over in that area. So, like, Lexington's got a little...
Crawford does have some ghosts.
Yeah, Crawford does have some ghosts. Lexington in general just has, like, it doesn't have a creepy vibe to it, but there's...
dog men, we have goat men.
Yeah, Kentucky...
We have headless men. Yeah, we got some crazy fucking ghosts around here.
We're coming up on 3 hours. I think it's 2:47 right now.
I want to meet that goat, that ghost, that toothless ghost girl.
Yes. Would she give a blowjob? Come on, Dan, hook us up.
Well, we're coming up on 3 hours. Anybody else got something they want to add before we get to that 3 hour mark before we get off? Anybody got anything?
I just want to add that our friend, let me see, our friend Michael Gilkerson is Michael Gilkerson presents Country Boy Comedy Night, starring Michael Gilkerson, Mason Pryor, and local comedians. Friday, May the 9th, Country Boy Brewing in Georgetown, Kentucky. $20 online, $25 at the door. 7:30 p.m. open and 8 p.m. Show begins. You must be 21 or over.
That's right. And Toothless Lady.
I know that's like at least another month away, but guys, check out Michael Gilkerson.
Check out Michael Gilkerson.
I got another story.
He has a great movie on
I think it's on Tubi.
Tubi. What's the name of his movie, Johnny? You know?
I've forgotten it.
Yeah, we forgot his name of his movie, but we've watched it several times. Go check out Michael Gilkerson's movie on Timu, not Timu, Tubi, and
Timu movie.
well, we will. This Mason,
Tubi is the
this Mason Pryor is I think
Richard Pryor's son.
Richard Pryor is one of Richard Pryor's sons, so maybe his youngest son. We will be there, and you will meet some of the Nice Guy Indie podcast people. I think we're trying to get Leon up on stage there.
Gang, I might be doing my first
So we
comedy
might be
routine.
doing his first comedy shit.
You know what you're going to be doing?
I got a routine set. I got a routine set.
So,
We'll talk about how trans people used to be gangsters and how my family is full of fucking retards. So it'll be a great time.
So check that show out, and then check out the normal Nice Guy Indie podcast through the week. Rinky-Dink Bullshit podcast. I've been working a lot. I haven't been on as much, but we definitely
shout out Shooting Straight with B Money, Rinky-Dink podcast,
That's right.
Sipping with Supernatural. We need to make a shirt for Sipping with
That's
Supernatural.
right. We need to.
we definitely will be back. We definitely be doing more. A lot more podcasts. We definitely going to be visiting a lot more local wrestling.
I think Johnny said something about how we're going to do some investigations.
need to do
would be
that.
Cool. I have a spirit box. and
Because
whenever-
you know what? We also got Nick Haas, got the equipment.
I mean, we could fucking Taylor don't work till 12. I got full reign on what we could do tonight. If y'all want to go investigate shit tonight, we could go fucking do it. Somebody'd have to film on an iPhone.
I'd be real interested to see what that spirit box can pick up at Lock 7.
Yeah, I mean, we can do whatever. Let's.
Y'all be. It's flooded down there, so don't go down there today.
Yeah,
it's flooded. I mean, all the fucking creeks and shit are flooded
and,
right now. I mean, imagine what's going to fucking happen with all this water, man. This water is so spiritual. It's going to put energy everywhere that it,
and
the rain and the flooding is just crazy around here right
and
now.
rest in peace to anybody that's passed over the past week,
Especially
over
to the
floods.
child that
the child,
died
the
in
9-year-old kid that died in Frankfurt. Shout out to that family. The Nice Guy Andy's podcast. Since
his name was Gabriel.
Shout out Gabriel, man.
It's terrible.
Fuck the schools for that shit.
Yeah, fuck the school because they knew to fucking close the schools during this time.
We send condolences to the parents. We send condolences to anybody else in the region that's or even in Indiana.
Reach out to their family,
Ohio,
I'm sure.
Tennessee, Kentucky. Our prayers are all with you, and I think we're gonna end the show today.
And Toothless Blowjob Woman.
We do have
Hit us
some this weekend. This weekend we have champions. Weekend of Champions.
And also this Wednesday we got Bullpen Pro Wrestling's James Kendrick.
Oh, James Kendrick's going to be in the house. This weekend, me and Johnny will be down at Appalachian Mountain Wrestling watching the Weekend of Champions. Try to get Leon and Kenny down there with us.
Yeah, come on, Leon. You got to enjoy it.
And we're going to go down there and check out the show down there.
Get some clips.
I think it's a DX is going to be at that show? Or is that a different show?
I think that's going to be at Weekend of Champions.
Okay, so check out Appalachian Mountain Wrestling on YouTube. Elite Wrestling Alliance on YouTube. Check those guys out. They got great shows. Ultimate Championship Wrestling is one of our sponsors too. And
that's right.
Check
Good
those guys
people.
out. They were very great. But check out all the clips that are on the Nice Guy Andy podcast page. Check out. Please comment on anything. Comment everything. If you have something good to say, something bad to say about the
some
wrestling,
ghost stories. We would love your own ghost stories for Sip with the Supernatural.
That's right, because we'll talk about them
we do need to probably
next episode.
start that page maybe a new page or something that's dedicated to that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what we can do. I like to keep it all together, but we do at the Nice Guy Andy podcast. We do all kinds of topics at this point. Main thing we do is we cover professional wrestling, local, and the big stuff. Me and Leon are going to be at WrestleMania this
April 20th.
And while they're at WrestleMania, I'll be doing a watch party here.
We'll be doing a watch party here. We'll be out at WrestleMania. We do cover local comedians. We're going to be having some more interviews with comedians. We're going to have some more ghost stories on. B Money's doing all the music of people in, and we'll have we'll have Nick Himes back in here at some point. We got Joe, our guy Joe and Killian.
Joe Hitton, Big Beard Dudley,
and y'all check out Calamity Jane. She has a show on Tuesday nights. She's
and
with
she's
us.
about to start doing Monday shows.
She's gonna
cover Raw.
She's gonna do Monday and Tuesday.
Yep, I think she's gonna switch to Monday to do.
She's gonna switch
Raw.
to Monday and start watching party and Raw. That's cool. Yeah. What else ever you got? To
Well,
say?
I think Kenny had a story to send us off on. If you would
Okay.
like to get into your
final story
of the Sip with the Supernatural.
All right, so at that same park with the incident with the swinging all by itself, late one night, me and my cousin decided to go explore this place, see if we could see anything supernatural. We're sitting on the swings, just talking, chilling, relaxing. That's when we see a flashlight pop on from behind this old white house. And at first, I'm noticing this flashlight, and she's talking. I'm like, hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing? You see that flashlight walking towards us? She turns and looks, and she says, yeah, who the fuck is that? I'm like, I don't know. And I see him getting closer and closer. I'm thinking, well, there's only a couple of ways to take this, right? So he gets this flashlight gets about 25 feet away from us, and I call out into the darkness. I say, hey, what do you want? No answer. They just keep walking towards us. But after I say this, they become faster. They're walking faster towards us, and my cousin just freaks out. She goes, fuck this, let's get out of here. She takes off running, so I take off running too. She trips and does a fucking front flip in the grass. And I run past her, and I have to stop and go and pick her up so we can keep running, right? As I'm picking her up, this flashlight wielding, I guess, fucking weirdo maniac is still walking towards us real fucking fast, right? So she's like, ah. Right. I pick her up. We start running again. We don't get past the tree line before we see all of these shadows, these shadow people drop out of the trees. So now we got a flashlight guy following us, and what seemed to be like a dozen shadows just drop from the trees and all started running at us. So we both took off fucking sprinting for the gate to my backyard. We get inside the backyard of the gate, just get inside and turn around, and all of it's gone. There's no shadow, there's no flashlight, there's nobody behind us except an empty park.
That's pretty odd.
It is.
But yeah, I think this was a very successful second episode. We had Jeff on, we had Nice Guy Andy on. We went over a lot of topics, said some scary stories.
That's right.
We're definitely going to be getting into some investigation. That will definitely be cool.
That's something that I've been wanting to do since 2022.
Yeah, I'm down to do it. I mean, whenever we get the chance, we should do it. I think this was a very second successful episode. Shout out B Money. He couldn't be here tonight, but Nice Guy Andy filled in the spot.
That's right.
It was definitely a really cool episode. I had a great time talking with you, Johnny Lee. Nice guy. Black at Kenny Mulligan. Everybody. That was my send-off. We're going to do probably the next episode probably after I come back from WrestleMania, so I'll get with Johnny Lee and we'll figure out the details on that. You'll know.
That's right.
We'll definitely probably make a page. We need more in-house stories from all the fans, anybody. I don't care who the fuck you are. If you don't live in Kentucky, you live in Kentucky, just please, anybody out there
Give us
listening,
some
we need
stories.
some stories. Because, I mean, we can sit here and talk about shit all day, but I would love to hear the viewers' input on all these stories. So, Leon Lexington sending off. We'll get the details in the next episode. Johnny Lee, Nice Guy, Kenny, whoever wants to sign off next, y'all go.
That's right. I want the blowjob ghost to really hit us up, though. I mean, think about it. Dan Aykroyd got his dick sucked by a beautiful, toothless, one-tooth ghost.
Hey, if there's
Why
any-
don't he send that to our
If
way?
there's any beautiful little young ladies out there that want to like hook Johnny up with the BJ, we don't need him to fall in love because he's in love with the podcast. But we could use a little attention.
This is Kenny the Black Cat signing off.
Well,
This is Suply John Lee, and fuck Icon Lee. He shouldn't have broke my neck. Ow, ow, ow.
it's Nice Guy in the podcast, and you guys keep on keeping on. If you're not having fun,
You ain't getting none.
Dan Skippy.